Nice. All right. I think we got everything going. True story. Let me go hit up YouTube real quick. It's, you know, because of stuff. Streaming stuff. Try this real quick. Content. Live. We are live. September 11th and September 11th. That's interesting. Seriously? Yeah, no doubt. September 11th, September 11th. Let me... I think this is cool. I don't have a lot of products. I don't have marketing. Let's just do this. Wow. Okay. Cancel. Let's see. Save. Oh, we can actually do that too. No shit. All right, hold on a second. I got to do this too. Well, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and do that because that needs to be a thing. Nice. All right. Totally cool. All right, so I see that we can actually do some... we can go ahead and save there. All right. Awesome. Hey, Joey, what's up, man? Oh, it's been friggin' amazing. So, bro, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, and we just kicked the shit out of the NFC champions, well, NFC runner-ups from the last year. And before that, the best team in the NFC. Yeah, seriously, bro. Yeah, my night is complete. Yeah, it's just been awesome. And I've got quite a few Packers on my fantasy teams, and they all just showed out. Like, I mean, like, literally, they're making it look easy. And it's just like, bro, why are you even playing? Because we're just better than you. But they're doing it like, dude, it's like surgical. It's literally surgical. Offense, defense, special teams, it's just surgical. Like, if they make a mistake, they don't need you to tell them about it. They're going to be like, okay, we made a mistake. So now we're going to make up for that mistake with like 14 points unanswered. And then we'll go on from there. Like, it's just that gangster. So, anyway, yeah, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. He's an absolute beast, bro. Dude, he affects every single play. The only thing close to him was Reggie White. And we all know what happened then. I just hope... I don't like Jordan Love. I really do not like Jordan Love. I don't. I think he's overrated, and I don't like him personally. So, there you have it. I'm a Packer fan, but I wish that motherfucker was not on our roster. I'd rather get by with a lesser quarterback that's at least not a piece of shit. But Jordan Love is a piece of shit. He self-proclaimed himself as a piece of shit. He is ungrateful for everything that America has given him, and he's just one of those racist, woke, fucking stupid pieces of fucking shit. I can't stand the motherfucker. He's about as accurate as somebody touching the wall of a barn with a football and still missing the fucking wall of the barn. Like he's just so overrated, it's disgusting. But we got a good coach, and we got a really good defense now. So hopefully defense wins championships, because you're not going to win one with Jordan Love. I'm a Packer fan, and I'm going to say that first and last. Motherfucker will show out here and there, but absolute fucking trash. As a human being, in my opinion, and as a football player, he's overrated. It's way overrated. I'd take Bo Nix over Jordan Love, personally, and that's saying a lot, anyway. But Micah Parsons, who is Jordan Love's homie, with their fucking racist agenda, I guess. I don't really give a fuck. Apparently they're homies and it's working, and I'm cool with that, because I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. But really it's God, family, and Green Bay Packers, which is America, because it's the only fan-owned team, right? And America doesn't have anything to do with traitors who just fucking hate America while they suck up millions of dollars to play a game that they would play for free anyway. I can't respect that. I will never respect that. I will call it evil because it is evil. And you can't argue with me on that point. So, yeah, I am not a Jordan Love fan. Can't stand that fucking piece of shit, honestly, I really can't. But whatever. It's a sport, it's a game, it's entertainment. Call it what you will. I hate to say it, man. Being a diehard Packer fan, I hope that motherfucker never wins a Super Bowl. I hope it feels the pain and then gets injured to where it can't play anymore, and then we get somebody in there that's actually a human being, that's actually of some kind of quality, and we just do the best we can from that point forth. Fuck that dude, man. What an ungrateful, narcissistic piece of fucking shit is Jordan Love. I don't know. I hope that dude comes out and apologizes and said, you know what? I should have gone to the White House when I got an invite. The only reason I didn't is because I'm a racist, fucking woke piece of fucking shit who takes everything the media feeds and turns it into a dildo and sticks it up my own ass. That's what the fuck. There's lots of Kaepernick. There's lots of pieces of shit. Jordan Love just put itself in that fucking category. And that just makes me want to vomit. Because it's so sad, because you got the true America's team, and you got this piece of fucking shit, this ungrateful fuck who's making millions in a country where you couldn't make 10 cents in any other place in the world, but yet you get to make millions and set your family for life. But then you just say, well, I'm not going to the White House because I'm woke and I love Satan's penis and I fucking hate God. That's literally what you're saying. That makes you a piece of shit. Self-declared, I don't have to judge you. You judged yourself by saying and doing what you did. You're a piece of shit. So fuck that fucking fuck. Shouldn't have drafted that piece of shit in the first place. Honestly, probably would have got Bo Nix a year or two later. Just saying. And turn that motherfucker into the next, I don't know, Packers quarterback. Anyway, but yeah, Micah Parsons is a monster. That's a true story. He's what's making this engine go. not Jordan shove up your ass. Not that fucking thing. That dude's just mediocre at best. He's average. At best, average. Anyway. Yes, I do want to store. Anyway, sorry, man. I'm just, yeah. I love the wins. I'm a Packer fan. I love it. I just hate having that thing at quarterback. It's so sad, man. It's so woke. It's so fucking evil, the opposite of anything that's good. So even your wins are like, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's like, I would really like to enjoy this, but I wish that motherfucker just wasn't here. I'm a Packer fan, but that's my take. That's my hot take on that piece of fucking shit at quarterback. Honestly, I feel the same thing about Jordan Love that I do about Michael Vick, who fucking murders animals, dogfighting rings and thug shit, and probably a fucking pimp. Probably had some hoes in his stable, being a bunch of snow bunnies. Yeah, Michael Vick not only deserved to be in prison, I wish he'd have been fucking died in prison. Because now the motherfucker is just making money being somebody that deserves no respect or credit or anything else. Homeless people are better than Michael Vick. So, just saying. True story. Anyway. So, all that comes from Micah Parsons being a beast. He's an absolute monster, and he's as advertised. And I think he's... Honestly, I think he's actually, like, literally playing through an injury. But he's just being so gangster about it. He's just like, I'm going to prove a point. Honestly, I think he would put himself on the IR just to prove a point. I really actually think he would. That's how gangster that dude is, man. Dude, he's a beast. Everybody knew that. Except Jerry Jones, apparently. Cool. Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowgirls. It's the team I hate. As much as I love the Packers, I hate the fucking Dallas Cowgirls. That is literally the arch rival. If their entire team died in a plane crash, I would feel sorry for their families, but I'd be glad they're not in the league anymore because they don't deserve to be in the league because they've been cheerleaders for, I don't know, shit, over 30 years now? And fuck their fucking fans, who are the stupidest pieces of shit on the face of the planet. Their fans are literally the sports version of woke. So if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan and that offends you, it's because I'm right. Fuck you. Worst pieces of shit ever, except maybe... what's the baseball team? The Los Angeles fans that actually commit murder in the stands. Oh, that's not the Angels. It's the, I don't really give a shit about baseball. Anyway, it's the worst thing since that. And it's always, and it was worse even before that. So, true story. Fuck all of them. Well, let's go. As far as the nighttime shit goes, oh, hold on a second.
So, what? Are you here to gloat?
No, I'm trying to actually check my mail.
Again.
Wasn't trying to talk to you.
The fool who can't hold his money when it's given in a
Was not trying to do that.
I tried, you know, when Leandra
The
left,
Dodgers, yeah.
but no one
Where their fans murder people in the stands because of a fucking sport entertainment. That's a Philadelphia or a Dallas fan in baseball. Just completely fucking narcissistic, garbage trash can. You can't win outright anyway. You're just mad because you're just a piece of shit human being that if you died at birth, the world would be a better place. Yeah, those motherfuckers. That's how I feel about Dallas fans. It's really how I feel about Philly fans. And that's how I feel about Dodgers fans because that's what they made themselves. Does that include everybody? Of course not. But does that include the example that's given? Absolutely. And it doesn't get enough retribution. There's no justice there. They don't get shunned to the point that they're just out of the picture forever, like MSNBC should be, for example, or The View. They should be shunned out of existence until they stop existing, and if they die, they make the world a better place. That's a true story. Anyway, just throwing it out there. I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. That's why I'm saying it. So,
the best way to make Daddy love you.
Hey, Dylan. Hey, what's up, man? Oh shit.
I changed their filthy sheets and wiped
Oh man,
their
that's a
chins
huge
with 2 bouts of the cholera, and the last word Father
that's a huge
said
super
was,
chat, man.
Leandra,
What's up, dude?
I'm not looking for love. But
Man,
at
I
least
don't
got
even
the
know what to say
money.
about that. What's going on? Hey, thanks for the support. That's friggin' fantastic. I'm sorry, Dylan. I'm talking about. Actually, I think this stemmed from American football, and then it just kind of went left or went right. Whatever. It just went a certain direction. So yeah. Anyway, what's going on? How's mom's? How's Dylan's mom? Dude, we're all fans of we're fans of you, but we're fans of your mom too. Like your mom is just cool as shit. We all know this. You know this. Just saying. Just pass that along. And just say, hey, Dylan's mom. Thanks, man. You're friggin' awesome. Sorry, I'm actually just a little bit late because I watched. I got to do it on Twitch, even though I've been banned on Twitch. I could go in as a guest and actually watch my favorite team kick somebody's ass. So that's like pretty cool. I guess soccer fans and basketball fans can relate. If you watch your, like a rival just get their ass kicked and you watch your team play better than you actually thought they would, yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So yeah, that was pretty gangster. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty cool. Beat their ass. Like, I mean, the score doesn't even show how bad their ass got kicked. It's like kind of ridiculous. And apparently my team against their coach, who's been a defensive coordinator throughout the league in the NFL, American football, we beat that dude's teams, whether he was a defensive coordinator or a coach. We beat his ass like 10 times straight now or something. Like it's been actually ridiculous. Like we've been beating this dude's ass for like decades, which is actually kind of cool. Which has a lot to do with our head coach. It has nothing to do with our quarterback. I fucking hate our quarterback. Well, I don't like our quarterback. I wish we had another quarterback. I don't think this quarterback can win a Super Bowl. I really don't. I hope we do, because I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, but I don't think this dude is capable. I really don't. It'll choke. It's declared itself to be a bad person. And you know what? Honestly, that carries over into your sport, too. If you're just a bad person. If you're just confused and you just don't know what's actually happening, then in the game, when it actually comes down to it and the pressure's on, you don't actually know what's happening. And guess what? You're going to give up the game and take all that money and hate the people that actually gave you that money, which is America. I really don't like Jordan Love. I hope that son of a bitch realizes the error of his ways, and says, hey man, I made a mistake. And I should be grateful for all the stuff that's been gifted to me. Even if he's worked for it, it doesn't matter. You can work for something and never get it. America allows you to actually get it. There's a lot of other countries that don't. Send Jordan Love anywhere else, and the dude can bitch and cry and wind up in a prison somewhere, and you never hear of him again because he's executed in some solitary cell and nobody ever hears about it again. That's what would happen. As soon as you raise your voice to cry like a little ungrateful, narcissistic, fucking bitch piece of shit, that's exactly what's going to happen. Nobody's ever going to hear from you again. But in America, you have the right to bitch and be ungrateful and still make millions of dollars for playing a sport when you don't actually contribute anything to society, except you have some entertainment value. Am I wrong? Or is that the truth? Just saying. Anyway. All right, that's pretty personal to me. I think it's pretty personal. Anyway, Dylan, yeah, I really appreciate the support, man. Thanks for the super chat. Super chat is actually like pretty amazing. I guess it kind of works like bits on Twitch, I guess. Anyway, but I mean, like, true is true. Like, that's it. That's all. If you wanna just sit there and scoff and reject the privileges that are given you here in America, where people that don't want to be here still don't leave, right? Because you have the right to complain really, really loudly because you're a narcissistic, ungrateful piece of shit. And then when you're actually here making millions because you're mediocre at your job, you're just average, and you got millions. You got hundreds of millions of dollars. When average people who actually do contribute to society can't even fill their fucking car with gas. They're not only living paycheck to paycheck, they're trying to make minimum payments on their credit cards. And you're making hundreds of millions of dollars, and you say, I'm not going to the White House because I believe the racist fucking propaganda from the racists because I'm a fucking woke piece of fucking tool piece of shit. You got invited to the White House in America, and you're being gifted hundreds of $1 millions to play a sport that you would play for free anyway? And you say, I'm not going to go based on some political ideology that's based on Satan's asshole. And that's who you are as a human being. And you declare it. And you're proud about it. Well, cool, man. You drew that line. So when Satan gets crushed, I hope you're just proudly flying that flag when you get crushed too, you evil piece of fucking ungrateful dog shit. That's what I would say to Jordan Love. And Kaepernick and Antifa. I mean, you could. The list is long in this country these days. But yeah, fuck you and everything about you. And if you weren't here, the world would be a better place. That's a fact. But yet, Charlie Kirk dies because he says something that hurts your feelings. Fuck everything about you, and then once you're fucked, fuck you again until you're dead, is what I would say to that entire satanic ideology. The mark of the beast that's on the minds, that's in the brains of literally the majority of everybody these days, you need to pay for that. And if you're just that immoral, if you're just that degenerate, if you're just that hopeless, and you place your hopes on things that will just kill you, and you abandon the only thing that can actually save you, then that's on you. That's your decision. That's on you. You need to suffer the consequences. So you see all these woke people saying, you're giving me a ticket? You're arresting me for doing violent acts against people who are actually Christian, conservative, moral, ethical people? Oh my God, you can't do that. The internet didn't say you could actually do that. And the police are like, yeah, well, you're going to jail, bitch. But they only do that about 10% of the time. The other 90% get away with it, so they think that's the way to go. And that's what they say, and that's what they do. That's what they are. That's what they preach on the media. That's what they preach in your churches. That's what the politicians preach, like AOC. I think that's that fucking satanic fucking cunt's name, and so on and so forth. And everybody just follows along like sheeple, puppets. Well, basically, you're paying Satan to give Satan a blowjob while he puts an STD in your body, your spiritual body. Hope you're proud of that. Actually, I don't hope you're proud of that. It's just so pathetic. It's actually just ridiculous. Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, that all comes from pretty much Jordan Love, but at least I'm a Packer fan and my team won, so I'm cool with that. But fuck Jordan Love and everything that thing represents. True story. Okay, so we have to get Merrill. Right, we got Anders. We have to get, well, actually we got this too. All right, hold on a second. And we got this too. Okay, so we have to do this. We have to go get Merrill so that we can unlock the Bone Pit, so that we can unlock the Talvashoth Caverns, so that we can actually make some money and do our thing.
What?
True story.
Just wondering if the feathered pauldrons are the rebel mage persona.
Anyway, I was going to say I'm sorry about the speech. I'm not sorry about the speech. I meant everything I just said.
You are a
100%.
I remember.
Because it's
your
true.
father.
Everything else outside of that is
Was a good
evil,
man.
and it's bad, and it's a lie. So, yeah, 100%.
My father must have left quite an impression. The letter I found was ancient.
I needn't tell his own child how special he was. As to the letter, it pained me to see
Anyway,
the news
if
of
you're
the
a
Templar.
NFL fan,
The temple?
how about Tucker Kraft?
He allowed your father
Bro.
to leave Kirkwall.
George Kittle?
Rule
Okay.
is not served
Kelsey?
by caging
Okay.
the rest of us.
Tucker Kraft?
A wise man.
Let's just pass the torch to Tucker Kraft. And I offended somebody, and now I'm disconnected from Xbox Live again. Just magically, imagine that. I went like 6 hours without offending anybody, but as soon as I did, I got disconnected from Xbox Live. Well, guess what? I offended somebody, not sure who it was. A couple people left, don't really care. I mean, I care about you, but I don't really care about your feelings. Truth is truth, and we're at that point now where if you don't understand truth, you're so fucked that your opinion doesn't matter anyway. I just saying. But yeah, all of a sudden I've got to. I don't really care. I don't care about being on Xbox Live. I'm streaming through Streamlabs, so Xbox Live doesn't even matter. DC me. Oh my God, cancel me. Oh wow. I'm so scared. Don't care. I like literally the opposite of care. So anyway.
Sounds like he didn't quite understand the job.
Doubt can serve the faithful, even as it vexes them. I fear this has been lost.
This is my
I will send the letters I have.
this is my last
It
night
seems fitting
off.
that they return to family.
I gotta go back to work tomorrow night and work through Monday. I'll be back off on Tuesday. I hope I can get an extra shift or two though. Like next week, I didn't get a single extra shift this week, and I had to pay for
Such a friend.
the car to be fixed twice.
Few like your father.
And then a ticket. Like literally the 2 repairs and the
Even
ticket
fewer like
was like $1,000.
Rest well at the maker's side.
Yeah.
Au revoir.
That's just, I'm not actually making that up. That's actually a fact. You take the ticket and the 2 repairs and you put them together, it was $1,000 just by itself. Which, I mean, if you're a delivery driver, you have to have a car, and your car is going to cost money, right? So it is what it is, I guess. Seriously? That's life problems that everybody has to suffer, so
Wait until I've had enough training.
it's all good. Nice. All right. Huh. You know, it's crazy.
The tranquil on display out to intimidate other mages.
No, they don't. Anders doesn't ever tell the truth. Ever. About anything. Ever. If you buy that bullshit, you probably actually listen to the news and actually believe it. True story. I don't need the rune right now. That's cool. Probably get most of that money back too. That's dex, that's strength. I don't know. We might actually take a look at some of those things.
Someone placed manure in it again.
Beautiful. All right, hold on a second. Let me see. Okay, so now which one do we want? Oh, well, I guess. Yeah, I think I'll take the health and defense and all that bullshit. So that works. I don't have any rings. Five mana. I guess we killed that too. I was going to give that to Meryl eventually.
Precisely.
Nice. All right. Have we gotten wrecked yet? We've been playing this mage for... Should I think? I think this is like the 3rd day, I think. Well, maybe it was just yesterday. I think it was like a part of the stream the day before yesterday. And then we made some progress and we talked about stuff. I think we talked more than we actually played, but anyway, last night and then tonight, I don't think we've even got wiped. Like, not even once. I know we did Aveline's bullshit. Alright, so... Alright, cool. Alright. We're actually just doing quest stuff. There's going to be like a gauntlet where it's fight after fight after fight after fight after fight.
I got you something.
That's what we're working our way towards. But you really want to clean up all this bullshit, like the cutscenes and the dialogue and, you know, the side quest stuff and the main quest stuff and what have you.
I'm not holding you back with generosity.
I'm gonna go
Just have a look.
grab something to drink. That's what I'm gonna do.
These are by father. Are you sure they aren't meant for you? I bet another mage could get more out of them. For your service that cannot be admitted, I ask that you accept this trinket and know that I shall respect your name. Thank you, Conscience of the Order, Sir Morivar Carver. Carver?
The Templar who allowed Father to leave Kirkwall. Your namesake.
A Templar? Have we met a Templar who isn't a colossal prig?
I can only play one game. Just one. Damn. Well, I would answer that with like a couple options, but those games haven't been made. But if they were made, I would say, okay, that. Like that. Only one game. Damn, bro. That's shit. I would take this over Origins, but personally, it's more fun, and it challenges your build capacity more than Origins does. Origins, there's really just like there's one mage, there's one warrior. You don't ever even bother with sword and board, and if you want to play archer, it's just going to be boring as fuck. Like Dragon Age 2 offers a lot more there. But the experience and the voice acting and the characters and everything else in Dragon Age 2 just put it over the top because they're easily as good, if not better, than anything in Origins. I'll take Isabella over, what's her face? In Origins. I'll take Isabella over that. As far as character and stuff. Even if I never use her in the game, it's just the story and the drama and the stuff. I'll still take Dragon Age 2 over Origins anytime. Leliana, honestly, Leliana is destroyed after Origins anyway, because she dies in Origins no matter what. If you don't kill her yourself, she dies anyway. But then she pops up here, and then she's a main character in Inquisition, and they just tell you to ignore that. In my opinion, that's garbage. So, yeah, Origins, no. I don't just, yeah, if you just said, if I had to pick one, oh my God. I would say that the timer on my picking it would probably run out before I actually picked one, because I'd be like bro, like there's stuff to do. Like, you got the original Dark Souls. It's amazing in its own way. Played the shit out of it though, so I'm like, okay, maybe I kind of burned that up. Oblivion is one of my favorite games of all time, but I burned the shit out of that game. You know, even the remaster, I played that for a couple months. And even then, it's kind of hard to go back because it's still smacking of the original, which is a wonderful thing. And it's even better. But, fuck, I've just burned it up. Although I still haven't got all the achievements for that, so I have to go back to that. But that wouldn't be, like, my one-time pick for all time. I would say, like, if you did a Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Tale of Two Wastelands remaster, with all the, like, modern... I don't really care about the graphics, but if you did a modern gameplay update with all the shooting and the animations and the first person and all that shit, I mean, honestly, if you just took Fallout 4 mechanics and put them in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and gave me a Tale of Two Wastelands, I would argue that that might be my pick. But that doesn't exist. The Bethesda / Microsoft now does not want to make money with a quality game. They want to rip you off with fucking garbage trash games. So that's not going to happen. Although I never thought an Oblivion remaster would actually happen, which is actually better than Skyrim. So that happened. But anyway, that game doesn't exist, so I can't pick that. If you had a remaster of Divinity 2, Dragon Knight Saga, Ego Draconis / Dragon Knight Saga, if you had a remaster of that with really, really cool animations and really fun gameplay and literally basically everything else and like really good graphics with the same art style, and you just remastered the game and kept it true to the game, that might be my pick. But that doesn't exist. I mean, that game's fucking amazing in every sense of the word. There's really no downside to it at all. And you can't say that about a lot of games, but an animation gameplay upgrade with really, really cool graphics, honestly, that's one of the best games ever made. It really actually is. It really actually is. So I might... That would be like my dark horse, man. I would just say that. But it's not remastered, and there's a lot lacking in the development of the game, but the game's, you know, it's almost 2 decades old, so I mean, that's fair. That's fair, but it's one of the best developed, it's one of the best design games ever. If you really had iframes with the dodge rolls and the dodge leaps and the ability to actually be a dragon and just, you know, throw fireballs at shit as a dragon and fly and create like an entirely other game world from the aerial perspective and still have this massive game world. Dude, it was made by the same people that made Sacred 2. And Sacred 2 was one of the best isometric games that was ever made. Sorry, Diablo. Sacred 2 was better. Facts. That's my opinion, but whatever. You can't argue me out of that, so I'm just gonna just say facts. But yeah, man, if you had a Divinity 2 Ego Draconis remaster or a Fallout 3 / Fallout New Vegas Tale of Two Wastelands remaster with updated graphics, gameplay, and everything else, and just leave everything else about the game pretty much the way it is. Import all of the perks, all of the leveling, and all of the DLCs, and create this post-apocalyptic 1940s, 2120s type of vibe going on That might be my favorite. But that doesn't exist. They never made it. I don't think they will. Because it makes too much sense. If you did that, you would actually be selling a game that the players want and recreating a modding community for the next 10 years that players would, I mean, like, honestly, it would just be a self-feeding, a self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will. Yeah, you create that, a remaster and stuff like that. Okay, so like that would be the shit. The only game that I would just say I would just play like forever if I had to choose it actually doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So like I'm assuming if you say if I'm gonna play that forever, only one game, whatever, that means there's nobody else to play with. So Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, not the remaster, the original Dark Souls loses some of its luster because you don't have anybody to invade you and make the game just scary, fucking filling the game with fear and anxiety and challenge and whatever, right? Like the triumph when you beat somebody who's better than you, but you beat them. And then the agony when they come in and kick your ass, even though you're better than them. You know what I'm saying? Like Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, the way it was originally formulated was almost perfect. Now, Dragon's Dogma. Fuck Dark Arisen, which ruined the game. Dark Arisen is the Skyrim version of Dragon's Dogma. No, the original Dragon's Dogma in its vanilla state was one of the best games ever made. True story. It was remastered, therefore they took a shit on it because they're fucking woke and that's what liberals do. They just take a shit on, you can't have any fun, you can't have nice things. It's like Sun Tzu in satanic form. That's woke, that's left, that's liberal, that's politically correct. It's whatever you want to call it. It's still Satan's asshole taking a shit in your face and making you swallow it. In your economy, your politics, your religion, and your education. Those are the four dynasties. Those are the four horsemen. Taking a shit in your face, and they're disciplined. They're going to do what they do until you accept it. True story. What does that have to do with the video game? Everything. Because Dark Arisen took a complete piece of shit on one of the best games ever made, even though it wasn't even complete. It was still one of the best games ever made. The combat is fantastic. The leveling system is completely, ingeniously, individually, almost perfect. And then they came and took a shit on it. So, I mean, don't really need online players for Dragon's Dogma. You don't really need it. You can pick pawns from a general pool that isn't really dependent on online. It can honestly just be basic AI. So you can actually do that. What game would I play forever if I only had one game to play and nothing else? Wow. Shit. Boy, that's like the best question ever because, that's like almost being racist. Well, I'm gonna pick a white person over a black person, or I'm gonna pick a Mexican person over an Asian person. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not better. It's as good, but it's different. It's like flavors of ice cream. I'm not always in the mood for Rocky Road. I'm not always in the mood for white chocolate almond crunch. I'm not always in the mood for Tin Roof. I'm not always in the mood for whatever, mint chocolate chip. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's the one thing I want and fuck everything else. It doesn't make it better. It's just You know, and I think, so honestly, that question, that's too limiting. It's too limiting. It's almost racist in its base, if you think about it. Like, if you had one game to choose, if I had one race to survive if the world was annihilated, which race would I pick? It's literally the same question. And that's not cool. If I had one color to paint a picture with, I don't get any choice of any other colors. Sorry, man. That pretty much limits everything. I mean, you have different games and you have different genres, you have different colors, you have different cultures, you have different peoples. And to say one is better than the other, or to say that you'd be willing to sacrifice one over another because it's better, that's literally the definition of racism. Actual racism. Which is where you're saying God created you along with all of his other children, but somehow you're second, and fuck you. If somebody has to die, it should be you. That's not cool. That's not cool in any sense of the word. At that point, you might as well join the SS with the Nazis in World War II. Right? So why does it have to be just one? I don't think that's fair, because there's more than one. And you're basically saying everything else needs to die and go into the fucking concentration camps and be burned alive in a fucking oven because this is better and everything else sucks. Sorry, man. Yeah, I got no answer for that. I'm not going to answer that. If I did answer that, I would be disrespecting other artists, developers, creators that created shit that was just so amazing. It gave me thousands of hours of immersive escapism. And there's more than one game that's done that, and they've all done it equally, just at different times. So no, I can't answer that question, bro. I can't answer that question. Well, Anthony, I was in prison for 14 years. I'm just going to be candid. I was in prison for 14 years. You don't even get fucking air conditioning. So, you know what? Video games weren't an option. And sorry, if I had to pick one, I would pick any just to break the monotony of 14 fucking years without anything to do. So, to answer your question, now I'm going to throw it back at you. You know what? You should probably swallow that question and just say, my bad. Sorry I asked. That's probably what you should do right now. Now, that's a fact. I can actually document that. Don't really feel like it. Don't really have to, and I'm not going to, but whatever. 14 years. And you don't even get fucking air conditioning. You certainly don't have a cell phone. You can't even make a fucking phone call without a request, and then you gotta wait a month for that. Anyway. You might want to not pursue that line of questioning anymore. Because I think it'd make you look like a jackass, honestly. No offense. But if you continued that, it would make you look like a jackass. So that would be my response to that. Can we just drop it? That would be really cool. Yeah, for real. And that's a thing. It was a long time ago, because I'm old. But yeah. So we're not going to get into it any more than that, but I think that's the ultimate just stop statement. And if you want to continue on that line of, just don't. Just literally don't. I think common sense tells you, okay, shut the fuck up. I think that's what common sense would demand, that you just stop.
Well, There you go then.
Like I said, I think
I wonder how it compares
really
to
the
yours.
fundamental there
I'm
is
sure
that
someone
picking
thought far too
something
long about
over
mine.
something else,
Point is,
whether it's a
this sort of
thing
swordsman-
or a person or a race or a culture
A
or
man who
whatever,
let him look ahead.
unless it's proved
would always
itself
mean
to be just
skill thoughtfully
inherently
applied.
evil, other than that,
Not exactly
or
master of all
inherently
blades,
bad, like there's games that
Father
are
actually
inherently
thought there
bad.
was worth to a
There's
swordsman.
cultures that have proven
you,
themselves
sister.
to be inherently violent
A
and
connection
bad
I didn't
and
think was
evil.
there.
Like they capitalize on exploiting innocence to do evil, murderous, terroristic things. So no, obviously I wouldn't pick a culture like that. Doesn't mean that everybody involved in that race and culture is actually complicit or guilty of those crimes. So then again, you can't generalize. Right? So no. Anyway, bottom line answer, we're just chasing rabbit holes now, right? The bottom line is no, I just wouldn't pick one. I would just not have a video game and just learn to live life without video games. Is what I would actually do. But if I only had one, honestly, if it's that isolated in terms of my choice making, because I'm basically being imprisoned and I don't really have a choice anyway, guess what? That fucking game is going to be picked for me. Anyway, I would say, well, I want this one. And it would say, well, you can't have that one. Okay, well, what the fuck? So that hypothetical bullshit doesn't exist, and it really doesn't even matter. So there you go. That's about as a deep a dive as I can actually make to answer that question, personally. Just saying. Well, let's see. Your tax dollars go to what do you call it? A correctional system. Regardless of what country you're coming from, you could be in America, you could be in the UK, you could be in China, you could be whatever. I don't know anybody from China that's ever actually been in my stream. It'd be really cool if there was somebody from China in my stream. I would really, really welcome that. I think that would be amazing. Anyway, but regardless of where you're from, you have a prison or correctional system. You have a judicial system. You have courts. You have this and that. Whether they're rigged one way or the other, the bottom line is prisons make money because they charge you tax dollars to pay for prisoners that don't actually cost them any money. So they're basically just taking your tax dollars. Like seriously, in America, there's actually private investors that actually build prisons because they're going to get a return on their investment. And that's with all the brother-in-law shit like, $100 screws and $10,000 bags of cement and $70,000 rolls of barbed wire, and they still get a return on their investment because the tax dollars are raped just to house people at no expense to the state. Everything is essentially paid for, and then they just take your tax dollars above that. That's why they want to imprison people and not execute the monsters and then use the law, God's given law. Now, I'm an American, so we're talking about God's law here because this is a Christian nation. Honestly, Jesus Christ himself is referred to in our Constitution, so if you want to argue that, you lose. Just shut the fuck up. But anyway, in the system that we have here, you actually have private investors building prisons because they get a return on their investment. If they invest $10 million, they get $20 million over the next couple years. It's almost like, investing in like war bonds or, securities or, whatever. Anyway, Like, that's an actual thing here. And I imagine that's pretty true everywhere else, to some degree or another. So what does that actually mean? Well, I justice and right and wrong and stuff like that doesn't have any part of it whatsoever. It's the system. As long as the gears keep turning, money keeps coming in and it never goes back. You don't ever see any of that money again. Your tax dollars go up and they never come back down. I mean, even in nature, when water goes up, eventually it rains, even in the desert. But not in modern economies, and judicial systems are a big part of that. And the medical dynasty is equally. Like, if you got prison beds full, you're making money. If you got hospital beds full, you're making money. You're giving people cancer to treat their cancer. You're aware that that's just nonstop. And then you're just getting donated money to fight cancer because you exploit people's feelings so that you get even more money just for free so that you can create more treatments that give people cancer to fight their cancer so that they die anyway. But you rape the families of everything that they have, all of their money and all of their stuff. The prison system is no different. The educational system is no different. Your tax dollars are paying teachers to zombify, murder, exploit, and spiritually possess your children with evil shit so that they can either die, change their gender, and probably die eventually anyway if they don't kill themselves, which is probably going to happen, or whatever. And then your pastors are passing the plate and you're giving money there to try to buy a salvation that they never actually gave you because they never taught you the word of God in the first place. And then you have politicians who cannot tell the truth. That's what you're living under. Am I wrong? That's an absolute 100% factual truth. If you can't see it, it's because you're intentionally stupid. You're intentionally ignorant, which makes you stupid. The definition of intentional ignorance is stupidity. True story? True story. Think about it for a second. These are life lessons. I've learned them the hard way, so I'll just pass them along. Take it for what it's worth. All right, hold on a second. Okay, here I've got. Well, that's not good. Moral ethical arguments. You know what's amazing though? Like what's literally actually fantastic here? Whether you disagree with everything I just said, and that's God bless, man. That's fine. But the point being is an RPG and fundamental moral, ethical, governmental, economical, spiritual, whatever questions or subjects come up and you can actually discuss them. This actually came from, what game would you play forever? Honestly, that question has a base value. This is why Charlie Kirk was assassinated, because he would go back to the base value and say, let's get back to the base and discuss it from there and show how fucked up your reasoning is in everything you think and do. So you're going to either side with Satan, media, liberal, left, woke, and you're going to want to murder this person for challenging all the lies that you base your life on. if you based everything you think and do on lies that have been taught by your school teachers, your professors, your pastors, your politicians, and whoever you were brainwashed to follow, then you'd be willing to go out of your way to get rid of somebody who contradicts everything that you are, that you believe, and that you think. So if you're 100% evil, you would want to actually assassinate or be a tool for a group that wants to assassinate Charlie Kirk. I seriously doubt Charlie Kirk was assassinated by one individual, just like I know that JFK wasn't assassinated by one individual. That's the biggest bullshit. If you swallow that, you'll swallow whatever pill you're not supposed to swallow. That's a Matrix reference. You're just that stupid. I mean, you're intentionally ignorant. You're stupid. And if you're offended by that, it's because you're stupid, which makes you offended. Woke people are offended violently by the fact that they get exposed for their hypocrisy, double standards, and stupidity. Everything they claim to represent, they work against. There's no good thing that a woke person represents. It's all evil. That's a broad brush, and you can just paint it that way, and you will be right 99.999% of the time. And if they do have a valid, logical, morally correct argument, it's based on a lie anyway. And there you have it. Woke is modern Satanism. Politically correct was that. It was just like 1.0. Woke is 1.1. It's just the mark of the beast in your forehead. You can't think for yourself. You're not allowed to. You have to be evil. Or think for yourself. And if you think for yourself, you have to challenge everything you've been taught, raised to believe, brainwashed with, and indoctrinated with through your churches, your leaders, your educators, and even your fucking bankers and your economy. You have to go against all of that to even start to think for yourself, to maybe have a little bit of truth. That's where we're at today. Dude, this is modern Babylon. The word Babylon, actually, the definition is confusion. You don't even know whether you're a boy or a girl anymore. You don't have to go any farther than that. That's where we're at. True story. Am I wrong? I know I'm not wrong. I would if I thought I might be wrong, I wouldn't be saying any of this shit. It's just 100% truth. So, yeah. Anyway, that one question about a video game, or maybe a particular movie franchise, or a particular speaker with one political view or another, or a particular religious leader, or a particular religion, or whatever, will all lead to the same thing. You have truth and you have everything else. 99% of everything nowadays is everything else. Truth, you just got to see it. And if you can't see it, well, good for you. Because honestly, if it came down to test you, whether you're either going to be true or not, kind of like Peter in the Bible, where, Jesus said, before the cock crows 3 times, you're going to deny me 3 times, right? And it happened. Now, Peter, of course, didn't mean for that. Honestly, his intentions were pure, I'm sure. But there you go. It is what it is. That's a really good example for everybody today. Just got to think about it. Anyway, we got to go get Meryl. But I really want to start the bone pit, too. Actually, we haven't gotten Meryl, and the bone pit is actually available. Okay, you still got to get Meryl, because what we're trying to do is, Yeah, Anders is the actual. Anders is actually the definition of woke. It's a liar. It's a terrorist. It supports everything evil. It hates everything good. And it pretends to be your friend, and it pretends to have some moral high ground, while it's literally Satan's asshole taking diarrhea shit with STDs in your mouth and making you swallow it. That's literally Anders. Literally, that's like a perfect definition of Anders. Of course it gives you the chills. If it gives you the chills, that means you probably have some substance and value about yourself, and you probably at least qualify as a human being. If you at least get the chills from that motherfucker, because that has so much relevance in actual real world dynamics and politics today than it did 15 years ago when this game was actually developed. Think about that. That's actually some encouragement that you're actually not an evil piece of shit bad person. Maybe you're not 100% woke when you realize Anders should give you the chills, because it's a creepy fucking child molester, bestiality, murdering terrorist, jihadist piece of fucking shit. That's exactly what it is. And it's proud of it. And it claims to have a moral high ground by doing so. Well, I'm pretty sure the people strapping explosives or driving airplanes into buildings, they also have the same self-appointed moral high ground, while they just murder innocent people because their entire existence is just to be a dust-eating fucking locust that strips everything from you by their existence. It should give you the creeps. Like I say, it has a lot of relevant, current, political, educational, spiritual, moral, and ethical value in terms of teaching you that you don't have to be that. And if you hate all of that, that means you're probably not a piece of shit person. There you go. But our media would tell us that if we said anything that I just said, I'm a racist, even though I'm speaking against a culture. If nothing else, a religion. Nothing really to do with the race, except the Kenites, who were descended from Cain, who was a child of the fucking devil himself, who perverted, seduced, corrupted, and impregnated Eve herself to try to destroy the coming of Christ in the first place, and made a lot of attempts. But if you're not a biblical scholar, you won't understand that. But anyway, we're talking about Kenites, locusts. They strip everything you have. Sorry, man. We can make enough oil in America to provide the world with gasoline, but we send trillions of dollars to people that support Hamas and terrorist organizations to murder innocent people to pay for oil that we could just make for ourselves. But we have interest groups and tree huggers and green people here in our country that want to fine innocent, law-abiding American civilians for every time a cow farts. And we won't let anybody drill any oil over here so that we can spend trillions a year in tax dollars to buy oil when we can just make our own. You remember when Trump said, drill, baby, drill? And all the fucking Satanists, all the woke people, all the liberals jumped up and said, that's Satan! You're gonna melt the ice caps. No, actually, you're not. Actually, the Chinese, who the liberals serve, the communists, because they try to create communist and socialist agendas in all of our politics to make us fucking hoes, as if China was our pimp, to make us all fucking hoes. Christian people who aren't doormats to anybody try to make us hoes to the Chinese. You know how much fucking toxic waste they dump into our water, our air, and into our world every week. It's more than all the other nations combined do in a year. But who says anything? We're their hoe. If you speak up, you get slapped. You get slapped because you have leaders like, you know, lazy zombie Joe, Kamala, and shit like that want to serve Satan's asshole instead of just be American. All that is truth. All that is factual shit. You can go investigate for yourself. And this is current events. We're not even going back just a couple years. And honestly, it's been going on for longer than that. But anyway, just something to think about, man. Real life lessons. And all of this is not to get you to say, oh my God, this and that and blah, blah. It's just to get you to think for yourself. It's not a podcast. I'm no political representative. Nobody's heard of me. You guys are just here because you're supposed to be here. And you heard that, and if you agree with it, think about it. If you don't agree with it, cool. No judgment. But truth is truth. Facts are facts. And there you go. Now, there is one thing. Yesterday, we were talking at length about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, and it was obviously a political assassination, obviously. I mean, even MSNBC will admit that. Who was behind the shooter or whatever. What was interesting, though, and based on my comments yesterday, if you want to document what I actually said, is what I originally heard was there was a man that was taken into custody, and he said, I would do it again. But based on some stuff revealed today, is that there was a shooter on the roof. Sounds a lot like the Trump assassination attempt. Real or not, whatever the fuck is going on, bottom line is there was a shooter on the roof, but the guy they took immediately into custody apparently fired a shot. If he didn't, then nobody would take him into custody. From the middle of the crowd at point blank, but now they're saying it's some shooter on the roof. So I've literally been given 4 different pieces of information that have nothing to do with one another, and now you're creating a conspiracy thing. Look, honestly, there was 10,000 witnesses. If the shot came from the roof, everybody would say so. If the shot came from the crowd and the dude saying, I would do it again, then there's witnesses, like the people standing around him. But now we have 2 potential shooters and some conflicting shit, and the news isn't clarifying any of it. So what are they actually telling you? Absolutely fucking nothing. Anyway, the dude got murdered, and now they're clouding it up with a bunch of shit that they're not explaining, and I guess they let it just fucking die. And they eventually catch or don't catch the supposed shooter, and they let the dude go that literally, supposedly, fired a shot from the crowd, point blank, right in front of this dude, and got fucking corralled and got taken into custody right then. But he got let go. And now there's some phantom shooter, which they do show a shadow of a person on the roof. The point being is, how the fuck do you even think this dude did it, but that dude did it, and this dude said I would do it again, but now you got some dude you're chasing down? That's the news we got over 2 days. How does any of that make any sense? It does nothing but create questions. So they assassinated this guy for having a voice, but they've been murdering people for having a voice since Jesus. They tried to do it to Elijah, Peter. Most of the prophets suffered some similar fate. I'm not comparing Charlie Kirk to a prophet, but he was trying to speak a voice of reason to really, really evil people, brainwashed at colleges. And he he did over 100 colleges a year, and he's been doing that shit for over a decade. So you gotta at least say the dude was committed, and he got assassinated, and now they're clouding it up with 2 potential shooters with a bunch of conflicting eyewitness reports, and there's 10,000 people there, and we don't get to hear from any of them? What the fuck is that? Sorry, man. JFK bullshit all over again. Can't see it any other way. Doesn't make any sense.
You married a Templar, huh?
Hear you're having problems with the bone pit. I can
It's
help.
all sketchy. It's shady as fuck.
To help me.
Why does it have to be shady? Why did 9/11 have to be shady? Why did you lie about everything that happened
My workers
and create scientific evidence that was the opposite of science?
Right for hiring Ferelden
Why?
refugees.
So you can go into a war on terror? Sorry, terror isn't a thing.
I need someone
Terror is a
competent to figure out
concept,
what is
a
going on.
principle. But you could charge the taxpayers about $50,000 for every magnetic wand, every magnetic metal detector. You could charge the taxpayers $100,000 for each one of those. They'll never question it. At every single airport all over the world. $100,000 a piece. They only cost $10 to make, but you can charge the taxpayers worldwide $100,000 a piece. I'm just giving you an example. To get into the war on terror. How are you gonna make war on, that's like war on evil, war on greed, war on selfishness, war on woke, war on racism, war on whatever, war on thought police of anybody that exists anywhere in the globe, and charge the taxpayers for every single fundamental tool you use to do that. That's why your gas prices are still right around $3. Maybe $2.50 if you're lucky. This, bro, it's not a secret. I mean, it's literally in your face. Oh, and by the way, I would actually challenge you guys. I actually wanted to say this the other night, and I actually tweeted this, and I want to say this to you guys. If you can go look up footage of the Twin Towers collapsing, and it's I'm not even going to get into the controlled demolition debate, which is obviously controlled demolition. I mean, honestly, if they were knocked off balance and shit was melting, honestly, you would have melted material coming down, so you would at least have some sparks and some glow. You don't have any of that. But what's crazy is you have 2 of the tallest buildings in the world coming down into their own footprint. Forget controlled demolition. There's a really, really good question. And I watched it, and then I watched it again in slow-mo. This isn't conspiracy stuff. The thing is, the amount of material in this tower, if it was being melted by high heat from supposedly airplane fuel just saturating the entire building and just melting it, well, nothing melted. It collapsed. So that's a lie. That's a lie. I don't know what the truth is, but I know that's a lie. But the coldest part about it is both of these twin towers collapsed into their own footprint, identical to a controlled demolition. But the craziest part is, if you watch it in slow-mo, you actually see steel beams disintegrating into dust. Not melted, disintegrating into dust. And if you look at the entire collapse from top to bottom, and you look at it with a logical frame of mind, and you say, why are these buildings being turned into dust? They're not being melted. It's not even like a controlled demolition. Where the fuck is the material? Dude, the size of this tower should have covered 50 city blocks with 30 feet of dust, even collapsing in on themselves. The fact that they didn't just fall over because something melted. You're saying everything melted at the exact same time, perfectly, all the way down, and the building just all of a sudden just said, okay, fuck it. Okay, I'm just going to collapse, and 90% of my material is going to disappear into dust. To pulverize steel and concrete and everything else into dust? I don't even think a nuclear explosion would actually do it that cleanly. What was amazing is about 90% of the tower ceases to exist. It turns into dust. There's no jet fuel. There's no controlled demolition. There's nothing that can actually explain that. 90% of the material from just one of the towers, but 2 of them fell. So 180% of the fucking material disappeared into dust. What pulverizes steel and concrete into dust? Like particle stuff that can just float off on the wind and go off into, like, you know, the Hudson River or some shit like that. It can't happen. There's like literally no modern scientific explanation for it. I don't know what did happen, but what they said happened didn't happen. Like, it's not even close. Like, there's some really weird shit there. And I know both the Twin Towers had a decent, like, basement of several levels and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And we're not even going to talk about the building down the road that wasn't even touched by anything except a little bit of debris, and it literally did a controlled demolition into its own footprint. Fuck that. Let's just talk about the Twin Towers themselves. Why did 90% of the material dissipate into literally combusted dust? Like not even material anymore. Like literally dust that the wind could just carry away. What caused that? There's no natural thing that could actually cause that. I looked at it again and I said, they actually showed a slow-mo, and there was like a steel girder that was sitting there, and you actually saw the steel girder, steel fucking girder that's like, you know, like multiple feet thick, and it literally actually it turned into particles, and it just turned into dust. What turns a steel girder that's several feet thick, multiple feet thick, into dust? And it literally disintegrates on itself and turns into dust, and the wind carries it away. Bro, just go look at it. I'm not making that shit up. I'm like, what the fuck causes that? Whatever happened, it's not what they said happened. Some top secret, and you know they can't release the top secret shit for another 150 fucking years or something like that. They did the same shit with JFK and a bunch of other stuff. I'm not into conspiracy shit, but I know that when you're lying for a reason. This is not what happened. So you're saying this is what happened, that means you're lying. Like, common sense, science, and everything else says that didn't happen. What actually did happen, and why won't you tell us? Well, we'll tell you 150 years from now when your fucking grandparents and you and your grandchildren are all dead. Then we'll talk about it. Who's going to ask questions then? Nobody. So why would you do that? Why do you have to cover up something if you just got the truth? Like, this is what happened, and that's how shit went down. Everybody knows that's not how it went down. So what did go down? We'll tell you in 250 years. What the fuck, bro? If you don't have anything to hide, why are you hiding everything? True story. But you got us into a war on terror, and you got global taxpayers paying for magnetic wands at $100,000 a piece when they only make $10 to actually make. Well, there you go, man. That gives you a good idea of why that shit went down. like the Lusitania, like Pearl Harbor. And you can just go back through history and you can just find reasons to get the global populace into a conflict so that everybody can make some money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Well, that's another biblical quote. Well, it rings true. True story, right? Yeah, they heard the explosions. They heard the explosions of like controlled demolition, like multiple explosions, and they censored all of it. Why are you going to censor something if it's the truth? Because it's the truth and you're hiding something. I mean, that's it. That's all. It's not that hard. A child could understand that. What exactly happened, I don't know. But I know what didn't happen is what they said happened. That's what I do know. Just like what they said happened at Pearl Harbor, that's not what happened. No, my great-grandfather was there. And I'm just going to say this. Left some tapes that I don't have possession of, and neither does my family. But my great-grandfather was there. Captain Pace. Well, actually, Captain Woodson. Anyway, Captain Woodson. USS Whiteside. He was in Pearl Harbor. The night before they attacked, they ordered every single ship in Pearl Harbor to take all of their firing pins and all of their ammo and put it on the bottommost deck to prevent saboteurs from coming in on their ships. That actually happened. Guess what? The American naval forces in Pearl Harbor did not get off a single shot against the attacking kamikazes and the Japanese ambushers, if you will. They did not get off a single shot until over half the ships were sunk. Does anybody know that? That actually happened. But America would not get into the war. Pearl Harbor got them into the war. Go look at World War I and look at all the questions around the Lusitania. Now, we didn't have internet and a lot of shit back then, so it was a lot easier to hide shit. Go look at the Lusitania. Go look at the setup that got us into World War I. Go look at the setup that got us into World War II. Go look at the setup that got us into the War on Terror, which isn't even a fucking enemy. It's a principle. It's a theory. It's a thing, but it's not something. True story. All true stories. Now, okay, yeah, we need to go in and, kick somebody's ass and make sure some shit happened and go get all their oil and go get all their shit. Okay, fine. But why you gotta lie about it? Why do you gotta cover up everything? Why do you gotta tell intelligent Christian people that, well, what happened, we made happen because we're exploiting your emotions, but we can't actually admit that, so if you keep asking, you'll be under some scrutiny and you'll get into some legal trouble and you might actually disappear from the face of the map because we're the Clintons. If you start asking too many questions about obvious corrupt shit, you might just wind up with two self-inflicted gunshots to the back of the head in a car on a back road 100 miles from where you live that you've never driven on in your entire life. That's the Clintons and the Bushes, so on and so forth. Like, honestly, all the smacks of conspiracy, it's not conspiracy. It's just simply what you said happened didn't happen. Why won't you tell us what actually happened? I can ask in 250 years? Okay, thanks. Yeah, appreciate that, bitch. That's what I would say to that. Anyway.
I'll head there soon.
The sooner the better. Each day the mine is not running costs me more than those miners make in a year. The bone pit is
You want to know why they don't talk about it
enough?
enough? Because they're not told to. The news doesn't tell you to talk about it. The news tells you what to think about, and it tells you what to not think about. And it cancels you and makes you a conspiracy theorist if you do talk about something, and if you have any actual facts, you disappear. No different than the Pharisees and the Sadducees in the time of Jesus under Rome. No different. The exact same thing. That's why Jesus said, every prophet murdered, even this prophet that's not even documented in the Bible, that was murdered between the porch and the altar, preaching against you, all their blood is on your head. Who was he talking to? He was talking to the politicians and the lawyers. That's exactly who he was talking to. But what were they? Well, if you go read John chapter 8, around verse 44, well, they're the sons of the devil himself. Well, now you got to go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. Now you're talking about some way out shit, because nobody has any understanding of the Bible at all, much less global history going back to the beginning of time. But it's all explained, and it tells you exactly who they are. It tells you exactly what they do and how they do it. And funny is the MO is always the same. They murder those who speak the truth, who are outspoken enough to sway the populace, and they cause their money-making schemes to come into effect, even on a global scale. There you go. The Kenites. It really all comes back to that, and that's not any weird kind of theory or anything. It's just the way it is. It's just historical fact. Hitler actually misguidedly attacked these people, but who he attacked were, I believe, remnant of, actual Judah themselves being hunted down because they'd been scattered. Basically when Rome fell, pretty much Israel was scattered. They didn't become a nation again until 1948, but they were definitely scattered. Israel was scattered first. They eventually became the Europeans and Americans. That's your 10 tribes of Israel. But your tribes of Judah and Levi were scattered, and they were hunted. Definitely hunted. You even have a remnant of Judah, even insofar as Nicholas in Russia. One of the last czars, one of the last kings of a remnant of the lineage of Judah, actually related to one of the English princes, Philip, I think. Anyway, you can go look that shit up. I don't know if you'll actually find the answer to it. I think that a lot of that stuff is buried and hidden because the Kenites make sure that truth is not a thing. Honestly, 99% of Israelites don't even know that they're descended from Israel. Almost nobody in America. It's why we're victimized and accused of every bad thing. But there's still a destiny there, and we still control all the gates of our enemies, except the Panama Canal. I don't know why we gave that one up, but I guess we're getting control of it again. So, whatever. Anyway, we control all the gates of our enemies. Just as prophecy foretold all the way back to Abraham. But the Kenites themselves, they're also compared to locusts. And there's a lot of terrorist groups and stuff that act like locusts. And they come in and they subjugate your economy, your society, your spirituality or your religion, and your politics. And if you let them in, they're going to destroy they're going to do their best to destroy your country. Look at the UK, and look at a lot of shit that's going on in America now too. So it started with that, not just the Twin Towers, or at least who was blamed for the Twin Towers, but a lot of other stuff. But essentially, they okay, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say this. one of the most influential people on the face of the planet. Go look up George Soros' actual name. George Soros' actual birth name. I think Google will still give it to you. They haven't hid that yet. Just go look it up. People calling themselves Jews, but they're not. They're of the synagogue of Satan. Kenites. Sorry to point out one person, not judging him, but just saying, just go look up his real name. Just go do that for yourself. George Soros' real name. Google. I don't think it's hidden yet. That would be a really good example of the influence. Now, Hitler, being misguided, murdered a lot of innocent people. But the truth of the Kenites probably inspired that, and then he just went left with it. Which left is the opposite of right. So, of course, evil in every sense of the word, but actually Hitler actually called himself a Christian at some point. Well, so we're not even going to entertain that. But the bottom line is a really misguided, confused understanding of a simple spiritual truth going all the way to Revelation showed how harmful that can be when you obviously abuse religion. And well, we're all aware of how that goes. Like that's really, really bad on every level. But an example of the awareness of that simple principle. Those calling themselves Jews, but they're not. They're the synagogue of Satan. Jews are Jews. They're of the tribe of Judah. Anyway, actually, at one point, Jews was pretty much anybody of Israel that's associated with Judea, which would be Israel as we know it today, since about 1948. So we're now in that generation of the fig tree, but going back, it would represent anybody apparently descendant from Israel. Now, calling them the enemy, well, I mean, they're supposed to be hunted down and almost destroyed, biblically speaking, after being scattered because of their idolatry and their sins, and they're following after not only false gods, but looking towards kings and leaders of the heathen to actually save them, and just taking a shit in God's face as if they could do that, right? So they got dispersed and hunted down, and well, they paid for that, and honestly, generations paid for that. Anyway, that's like a really, really aerial view of world history, but as far as it concerns God's people, there you go. You have people claiming to be that aren't. Like they're claiming they're being like persecuted and this and that and blah blah blah. They're not Jews. They're not Israelites at all. I mean, some of them are, but no, I mean, honestly, if you're of Judah, you're probably in Israel right now. If you're a Kenite, you're probably claiming to be a Jew and demanding some kind of sanctions and demanding some type of protection when you're vagabonds and wanderers and you don't have any homeland. If you actually did have a homeland, you would be there. But they're in politics, government, banking, and everything else, claiming to be Jews, but they're not. They're of the synagogue of Satan. So this isn't anti-Semitic, which means anti-Shem. Shem is from pretty much where all of Israel actually came from if you go all the way back, basically to Adam in the garden. No, we're not talking about Semites. We're not talking about Israel. We're talking about those claiming to be of Israel, but they're not. If they're not of Israel, then they're not. What they are is claiming to be of that and trying to confuse the issue to deprive actual Israelites of their identity and their place in the world of actually who they are. And almost none of them know who they are. Anyway, so that's like an actual thing. That's global politics, and it's the reason behind a lot of the stuff that's happened. But it's so clouded and so confused with ignorance of any of the facts that actually made that shit happen in the first place, that we're left with, you know, just listening to the news and just believing their lies and just saying, okay, well, that's what it is. No, it's not. It never was. Man, the news and the celebrities and the musicians after the Twin Towers fell, oh my God, they came out in flocks and they tried to manipulate and exploit your emotions and your feelings and your patriotism, right? When you don't even know who you are, and divert them over here to where you just, like, any question of this being like a nefarious act means that you should be silenced and persecuted. And there was actually people assaulted and even killed for questioning what the fuck actually happened with the Twin Towers, because what they're saying happened didn't happen. There was people assaulted and even murdered behind even questioning it. Once again, common sense people, prophets, questioning some shit that is obviously a lie. I don't know what happened, but I know that what you say happened didn't happen. So what? And you can just trace that same pattern throughout history. Counting the smooth stones, worn smooth over time. What does that mean? Count the number of the beast. The word count means count the smooth stones, worn smooth over time, doing the same fucking thing to the same number every time. 666. Satan showing up in the sixth seal, Satan showing up in the sixth vial, Satan showing up in the sixth trumpet. It's just that simple. And everything working towards that, to get the entire world to buy into that bullshit. You gonna take his deal when he offers it? Nobody's even prepared for the light show. Like, there's people that will actually worship a rock star. Man, when Satan can snap his fingers and draw lightning out of heaven and make it look like dead people are being risen from the grave and all kinds of shit in front of your face. Healing the blind, healing cancer, putting a chicken in every pot, a car in every driveway, paying off all your debts. What's the world gonna do when that happens? That's going to happen. And honestly, unless you die early, you're gonna see it. So just remember that. True story. It's all worked towards this. It's a long time in coming. You have to count the smooth stones worn down over time. And understand that it's been working towards this the entire time. Yeah, you'll see a light show that you've never seen before. Even the scientists are going to be satisfied with aliens. They're not aliens, but they'll be satisfied. And every single religion will have their Messiah. You'll see it happen. So when they say, hey, it's over here in the desert, hey, it's over there, don't believe it. If you're still in your flesh body, it's a lie. Just take that into consideration. All right, so I'm not even playing the game anymore, to be honest. Gotcha. No, it's frustrating. So when you're being lied to, it's like you're being cheated. It's like you're being stolen from. And you are being stolen from. Your brothers and your sisters got murdered behind a political stunt to take more money from your brothers and your sisters and yourself. And just get away with it. It's infuriating. It's frustrating. It really actually is. It's a true story. But if you vent, then you get labeled and you get canceled and you get this and that. And honestly, if you don't give a shit about labels or canceling, you don't really give a shit. To be honest.
Have you seen? Please, can you help me?
Sucks to be a poor Ukrainian refugee on a train somewhere who survived the war just to sit here and just try to just survive in America where you're, and then just be in a not so major city and then just get stabbed to death by somebody, but it's not considered a race crime because the victim was white. So it's not considered a race crime. Sorry, man. It gets frustrating. If an Israelite gets murdered, it's okay. If somebody gets punished for their crime and dies in the process, one way or another, then it's crime. Race baiting, political subterfuge, manipulation, perversion, hypocrisy. Everything that Satan is about is literally governing basically the world right now. It's creating unrest, but then you've got the same kind of evil that's going to come out, that's going to come in and create peace. And when they cry peace, peace, bro, it's like literally around the corner. No, there's no peace in this shit. Because it's 100% motivated and directed by evil. I mean, you literally have a satanic movement. It's called woke. It's a satanic movement. You actually have possessed people talking, doing shit, actually even in government positions and shit like that. That's where we're at. True story.
Don't worry.
But
helping people and killing people.
the Green Bay Packers won, so it's all good. I guess.
I hope there will be no call to kill anyone, Sarah. Karen was always so devout, so idealistic. He was so proud when the Templars accepted him. I pleaded with him not to join the Order, but he wouldn't listen. You hear dark rumors about the Templars and Knight Commander Meredith. And now my brother is gone.
So you think the Templars, what? Killed
What?
and ate your brother?
Think the Templars, what?
Mika forbid. I don't know what happened. He just stopped writing me. I tried to see him, but Knight Commander Meredith threw me out. They won't tell me anything.
Your brother may indeed be in trouble. What can I do for you?
Perchance. In your journeys, if you find yourself in the gallows, ask the other recruits, Wilmerd and Hugh.
Good talk, anyway, guys.
They were
Good
Karen's
talk.
closest friends in the Order. If anyone knows where he is, it's them.
Talk about you spouting shit.
And watch after you in this endeavor.
It's good to vent. It's good to express, like, it doesn't even always necessarily need to be like, okay, this is the way it is, fuck that, and everybody else needs to die. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes it can be, I have a question here, and it's a legitimate question, and not only is it not answered, but everything they're saying is the opposite of the truth that would answer this question. And I have a problem with that. And it's reasonable to think for yourself. You're not supposed to think for yourself. That's probably the most infuriating part, is you're not supposed to, or you're not allowed to think for yourself. The thought police, this socialism, communism that has crept in, it's not by accident.
Of someone with your special talents.
Bible would call it Babylon, which is the word, like the definition of Babylon is confusion. It's confusion. It's the opposite of actual peace, order, understanding, truth, any good thing.
I'm guessing you don't mean my ability to juggle small rodents to Elysian ballads.
If that is your greatest skill, then I have been misinformed.
Anyway.
I am looking for muscle, not
Well,
whatever it was.
good on you to vent a little bit. At least it feels good, right? To just like, let me put that out there because, fuck, man, it's obviously true. So why are we being lied to?
A request that should have been made
There
at
you
the
go.
guard.
That's the problem, right? Confusion. Creating confusion where, honestly, the truth would just settle everything. But you hide everything true and create a bunch of confusion? And we're just supposed to just say, well, that's the way it is. Dude, how fucking stupid is that?
We're both intelligent people. There's something in the ruins, isn't there?
Sam.
There is something, yes. There are creatures in the ruins.
Creatures in the
The
ruins.
guards I sent are ill-equipped to deal with such beasts.
I'll take the job.
Bring the fugitive in alive, quickly and quietly. Not only will you be well paid, you'll have the gratitude of a city magistrate.
I don't think I can do this till we're at least like a level 11, I think. And I guess we can pretty much get all this started. We still gotta go get Meryl. That's mandatory. I don't know, we might actually be able to trigger 2 things at once. Possibly.
My lady, you've been
Maybe.
so patient. Is there something I can get for you?
Oh no, I'm quite all right. Not much room in the barracks, but there's Jevon's
Nice.
office. Wait while I explain our initiative.
I don't know how they do it where you're from, guardswoman, but I decide the patrols, not you and your whims. You may have been put up for lieutenant in your first year, but I'll have no show-offs in my command. Have I made myself clear? Report to your post before I have you and your Ferelden accomplice jailed.
Well, what a charming fellow.
I don't have to like him, but he could at least listen. Bandits are dead. That's all that should
Right,
matter.
I wonder,
not the first time
Joey,
he's made me wonder like
going
this.
back to something you said
Something's
earlier,
very wrong.
which is kind of a question. I wonder if the guy in the crowd was the dad, a parent, or something of the person on the roof who actually got away. Or something, which means it's cooperative, which means it was, you know, anyway, something like that. And the fact that they have pictures of this individual and they still can't find him. I mean, like literally video camage footage, unless that video cam footage is actually a lie too. So if they're lying about everything about it, then they're making it to where nobody is accountable. What's up with that?
So let's find out whose toes you actually
Anyway,
step
no,
on.
Then we should
like I
check
said,
the
definitely
duty roster
one of
and
the
see who
several
was supposed to
questions
take that route.
that comes up with
What have I
eyewitness
stepped on
accounts.
this time?
10,000 eyewitness accounts
Threaten my
say that the one thing you said happened didn't happen, and the other thing that supposedly happened, you knew it happened, and so now you can't do anything about it. What the fuck is going on? Zero sense. Makes zero
Adeline.
sense.
I owe you for clearing that ambush the other night. Saved me a mess of trouble.
Talking about the Charlie Kirk
Brennan,
stuff.
that route was yours.
It was. Single patrol.
Honestly,
Must have been
personally,
dead for sure.
I didn't agree with about a third of what Charlie Kirk actually said, but almost nobody agreed with anything he said, but he just said what he believed for, what was it, like 17 years or something? Like, continuously establishing, you know, yeah, did he market himself and this and that and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't really necessarily take anything away from his opinions. Like, he made a living out of it. Okay, cool. You know, like, a servant is worthy of their hire. So, like, if you're gonna do something and you can get paid for it, okay, I'm totally down with that. I don't think he ever got away from his core values. And I agree with more of his core values than I don't. I think he gave too much leeway. I think he what do you call it? Personally, I think he catered to the murderers a little bit too much, like the abortionists. He gave too much leniency to abortionists. Because I mean, murderers are murderers. I mean, they might look different, but they're still all murderers. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have 3 terrorists that all claim to be a different version of the same religion, and they all strap on a bomb and blow themselves up and murder a bunch of women and children, they're not different murderers. They're all the same fucking murderers, and they all need to be executed. So, yeah, abortionists and the women knowingly, actively going and paying for an abortion, I'm not going to assume that they did or didn't know what they were doing. Charlie Kirk said, well, the women are not to blame. Sorry, man. The women are more to blame than the fucking doctors who actually performed the abortion. So I disagreed with him 100% on that. That was his stance, and it was 100% evil. It was 100% wrong. He was just misinformed. He was catering. He was pandering to the left with that. I thought that was pussified. I thought it was weak, and I thought it was evil. Because it's pussified, weak, and evil. That's why I thought that. But he had other views, but the bottom line is he was still willing to go out and argue. It just sucks that he took certain common ground. But you know what? What did it matter in the end? Even though he catered to the left in a lot of what he said, he got murdered by the left anyway. And honestly, I'm not even convinced this was just some random rogue individual who just didn't like something he said about something. I believe this is the patsy of the left. Either Antifa, some shit like that, right? Just some political group, a patsy and then a patsy. I wouldn't say that except for the fact that there's an actual patsy involved that allowed the actual shooter to get away, supposedly, or not. And if it was a high-powered rifle, that wasn't obviously somebody from the audience, but that came out later, and it was somebody from the roof, then why did you direct all the attention to somebody in the audience? Because that person shouted out and acted like they were the one that did it. Nobody knows what size bullet killed this dude. In the moment. Later, yeah. Once forensics gets involved and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But at the moment, nobody knows what size bullet. It could easily be from a handgun or anything else. Whatever. So yeah, it all seems rather organized for me. And that tells me it's a third party. Somebody made an actual good point. I watched a beat the game on hard. This one? Dragon Age 2? Well, good for you. But I would, honestly, if you're trying to beat it on hard, just put it up to Nightmare. Just go ahead and just bite the bullet. And just do it. And then the game is, it's going to teach you what you need to do and not do. I think the biggest part of, the thing I don't like about Dragon Age 2 is they got away from Origin's formula, which is each difficulty level had more of a percentage of friendly fire, right? So in Dragon Age 2, hard is not a lot different than easy in that there is no friendly fire, so you can just use the same skills and you say, well, this skill looks strong, so I'm going to use it because it supposedly does more damage. That's Skyrim thinking, and Skyrim is not an RPG. This is an actual RPG. So the mindset of Dragon Age 2 is tactics. meaning that if you're going to crank up the difficulty, hard is just normal 2.0. It's there's really no difference, honestly. You just have to hit things a little bit more. There's nothing to it. Nightmare, though, you have friendly fire, which means half that shit that you're using trying to spam massive AoE damage on everybody because it doesn't hurt you. Guess what? Now it kills you 10 times faster than it kills anybody else. So just spamming every single ability just because you can put a point in it. Sorry, man, Skyrim doesn't work here. Because Skyrim, like I said, is not an RPG. So I understand it's that mentality. And it's not understanding exactly what the game is asking you to do. What Dragon Age 2 asks you to do is isolate combos with certain abilities and figure out what works with what. I'll show you here in a second exactly what I'm talking about, and then I'm sure you'll get it. And you'll be like, oh, okay. So it certainly work on hard, but it even works on Nightmare. And I think there's a certain satisfaction for beating the game on its own terms. Because you know the rules of the game, and you play accordingly, and you do it well. Now, tactics are a huge part of that, but it still comes down to the skills that you use and the skills that you don't use. Understanding what is and isn't friendly fire. That's really what it comes down to. That's why Nightmare seems so almost impossible. Because the game is saying, you either understand my rules, or you can get gone. You can just die and quit and drop the difficulty and be a bitch about it. Is what the game is telling you. You can either be a bitch about it, or you can man up or woman up and play the game according to my rules. That's really what Nightmare is about. It was the same thing with Origins. Origins even more so. Here, the only time you have friendly fire is on Nightmare, which I don't agree with. I think hard should have like at least 60% friendly fire, if not 80. I would say 80 on hard, 50 on normal, and maybe like 20 on like novice or easy is what I would say it should do. That's basically what Origins does, but anyway.
A lone guard isn't much of a patrol.
Shouldn't need to be. That route was clear for weeks. First noise out of it was your big fight. The captain reassigned me after he heard what you did, and I passed the satchel to Donick for his patrol tonight.
The satchel?
Pay and order assignments. Captain has us run deliveries to the outposts during light duty. It's usually just an updated copy of the roster.
All right, so let's take a quick look at this. Just a quick look.
Thanks again, Aveline. You're a good one.
So the satchel gets heavy the same day we discover an ambush.
I bet there's a perfectly
reasonable lie.
Why your captain arranged this.
I'd be willing to hear it, but not while a guard may be walking into a trap. Brennan said Donick, a good man. Donick. I've got his route. A night walk in Lowtown. Let's go make sure his quiet patrol stays that way.
All right, so let's take a real quick look, and this is like the basics of Dragon Age on any difficulty, but I mean this is Nightmare basics. Nightmare is really, it's like once you go Nightmare, you never go back, because it like really challenges you and it actually gives you a reason to keep playing the game. This is where the replayability is at. This is like, I'm not just trying to beat the game. I'm trying to beat the game on its own terms and do it successfully. And it just opens up all these avenues of opportunity to do things different ways. To like start a particular class, like two-hander, sword and board, archer, dual-wield rogue, mage, certain kinds of mages, like a healing mage, a blood mage, just a basic mage, which is what I'm playing right now. There's really no speciality. It's just what I call uber mage. It's just taking advantage of all the mage stuff. Anyway, so whatever. the most important thing, like literally the most important thing, is how you combine your abilities. Now, like, there's no combos really of use in Nightmare in the elemental tree, but you have things here like, okay, so Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning now leaps between more enemies and strikes stagger foes with extra damage. So that means the elemental force, which will actually knock somebody back, or at least make them pause for a second. But the electricity damage is triple. Plus you get 2 extra arcs. So you can hit like 5 enemies, for example. But if they're staggered, then you hit them 3 times harder. So instead of hitting them for, I don't know, whatever, 82, you're going to hit them for like, I don't know, 250-ish, right? Okay, but they have to be staggered. So you need somebody who can create staggers to create staggers for you, right? So you want your tank, your warrior, to create staggers. So stagger chance is 100% with shield bash. If you're using a two-hander, then staggers pretty much come off criticals and can theoretically come off any basic attack. And your two-hander is a bigger weapon, so it can hit more enemies at once. So you can create multiple staggers. This is a way to create staggers with your sword and board. Notice that this only has like a 10-second cooldown. So this can stagger pretty often. And if you can create this to nearby enemies, see where it says stagger chance 40% versus normal enemies near the target. That means there's a stagger chance on multiple enemies. Right? So you can start creating AoE staggers, you know, as you go around. And that creates an opportunity for your mages to use Chain Lightning. And so you're going to hit them 3 times harder, which means that, okay, so Chain Lightning is not friendly fire. It is in Dragon Age Origins. It is not in Dragon Age 2. So like this right here. Stone Fist, if it is friendly fire, it never hits you anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, this is a way to capitalize on disoriented enemies. This is a way to capitalize on staggered enemies. Right? So then you look at this. You've got Spirit Bolt, upgraded. Has a huge... this has got like almost 100 damage right now. Tripled. And it's got a really quick cooldown. You can use this every 5 seconds once it's upgraded. I think, no, 10 seconds. But it doesn't cost you shit to actually use it. Anyway, so you can use it for like 15 minutes. Anyway, so like this right here is another way to capitalize on a disoriented enemy. So you don't necessarily have to upgrade both. Like for me, on this playthrough, I'm probably going to... I'm going to upgrade this the very next time I level so that I can start capitalizing. And I'll get my other mage to do the same thing, right? And as far as the disorient thing goes, I think I might lean towards Spirit and use that as my disorient ability. But then I might get my other mage to upgrade Stone Fist and use that to capitalize on disoriented enemies. How do you disorient enemies? Well, guess what? You got Varric. And at level 8, he guarantees to disorient whoever he's hitting with this. This is how you disorient enemies. Alright, so this is like basic skills. Staggers by your warrior, disorient by your rogue, capitalize on that shit with your mages. That's pretty much the basic rule. Now, you go to tactics. Alright? So, I've left this open. Who do I want to disorient to where if one of my mages capitalizes on it, exploits it, detonates a setup. It's basically like a setup and a detonator. You got a primer and a detonator. The same shit worked in Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect Andromeda, Dragon Age Origins. Didn't have quite as many combos, but it's essentially the same thing. So I only want elite enemies or higher, like assassins, champions, captains, Templar, hunters, rogues, Templar commanders, whatever you want, lieutenants, whatever, right? Elite or higher, dragons or any boss, right? Those are the ones that I want to hit with pinning shot so that my mages can hit them for maximum extra combo damage, and it's not friendly fire, which means it's not going to kill any of my party members. It's just going to hurt the enemy. So there's certain things like Firestorm, Fireball, a Cone of Cold can hurt your companions, and so on and so forth. So there's some things, like if you have an AI mage, if you have a party mage, you don't want them to tactically use certain abilities, even if they've got them, equipped. You don't want them to use certain abilities because they're friendly fire, which means you can't trust that Anders won't kill your entire party with a fireball. You just don't give Anders fire. In fact, don't even give Anders, maybe Winter's Grasp or something. And don't even upgrade it because that's friendly fire. It's got an AoE on it. But things like Chain Lightning, Spirit Bolt, Stone Fist, and things like that are not friendly fire. So that is something offensive that you can assign tactically to your AI, meaning your companions, that's not going to hurt your party. You don't want the AI killing your party, which it will do. If you assign them friendly fire shit on Nightmare, they will kill you. Before they kill anybody else, they'll kill you first. So you just don't. So now you've reduced the number of spells and abilities you can actually use. Like, you can't give your companions, like your warriors, Mighty Blow, Scythe, Whirlwind. Yeah, there might be one or two other things. You can't give them. If you give them that, Sword and Board has one or two abilities too. They're friendly fire. They'll kill you, and they'll do like this much damage to your enemies. They're just going to annihilate you. You don't give them that. So now your Nightmare is not only twice as hard, but you can only use half as many abilities to actually do what you need to do. And then you have to formulate that. Then you have to make your tactics work to where everybody does what they're supposed to do in any given scenario. Like a particular fight, you want them to do their job. Like they've got a setup, or they've either got a primer or they've got a detonator. And you can start annihilating heavy enemies and then start wiping out mobs for yourself. And if you do have a friendly fire ability that you're using specifically as a mage, which is what I'm playing now, you want to make sure you don't hit your allies with it, or that your allies can take it. If you do, if you drop a firestorm on Aveline, she better be able to take it. She needs to be tanky enough to shrug it off, right? And that's how that works. Now, it obviously works 10 times better on any lower difficulty because they're not hitting you as hard and you can kill them twice as fast. On Nightmare, they're extra tanky and they hit you 10 times harder. And they're more aggressive. So they use their abilities more often. And it's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. I'm scared. Why? It's a fucking video game. It's not going to kill you in real life unless you have a heart attack or something because you died in a video game. Other than that, it's not going to kill you. You can reload, right? So my advice to anybody is just play the game. Whatever the game offers you, play it like that. If it's hard, good. Well, I don't like losing. Why? It makes you better. I mean, nobody likes getting frustrated and getting shit on and cheated by a video game. I get it. But overall, the hardest difficulty, that shows what the game is actually about. If the game is worth a shit, put it on max difficulty. And then play it. And then you realize what you don't know. Guess what? You need to learn. And if you learn, you're better. And if you're better, then guess what? You beat the game. It's not that hard. Don't be scared of it. Embrace that shit. Be my advice. But I would not put the game on hard. I'd either keep playing it on easy or normal, or I'd just play it on nightmare. Hard is like, I want to pretend like the difficulty is up, but it's still easy. Well, what's the point? What kind of reward do you get out of that? Nothing. You get nothing from that. There's no satisfaction. Might as well beat the game on easy. Just saying. Story. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Man, dude, I'm like super tired. I know I haven't streamed that long, but been up late since, honestly, early yesterday morning. Why didn't you stream earlier? My bad.
I've always wondered why.
Well, I really wanted to watch the Green Bay game, so
his sister is looking for him.
Honestly, that's it. That's all.
To the void with that. Karen and the others are missing.
But our orders.
The Knights aren't doing anything to find them. Maybe it's time to ask for outside help.
Sure.
You're already defying orders to talk to me. Might as well share the good stuff.
I hear that Knight Commander Merritt.
We still gotta go get Merrill, though.
You have to go through.
We at least gotta go get Merrill, right?
Strong enough,
at least
fervent enough in belief, you don't make it out alive. Figures.
Oh, the Templars are cannibals. Why? Because the blood mages in the gallows say so. So all the Templars are believing that shit too.
I saw him this morning.
Like, literally, I can't actually prove this. I can prove that at least half the leadership, now over half the leadership in the Templars, are seduced and controlled with mind domination by blood mages. So they're actually working for the blood mages. Meaning that Grace, who is a blood mage who burned down her circle tower and not only practiced blood magic in the face of the Templars, but murdered all the Templars on the way from Starkhaven coming to Kirkwall on purpose to join Orsino and Anders' blood mage rebellion to murder everybody in Kirkwall. Not only do the Templars know this, but they reward her with a safe spot in the gallows to infect anybody else that might walk by. That actually happens in the game. Never is a mage abused. Now, Templars are abused the entire game. So the mages are accusing the victims of doing the thing that they're doing to victimize the Templars. Now that is actually happening. Sounds pretty woke to me. Accusing you of doing the very thing they're doing by virtue signaling and twisting the shit back on you to make the innocent the aggressor and make the aggressor the victim. Sounds pretty familiar, right? The murderers and the perverts and the aggressors and the rioters and the burners and the destroyers and the pieces of shit and the filth is blaming you for doing everything they're doing. Sounds kind of familiar, right? It's your fault. Anyway, all right.
If Wilmot came back, he might know more about the other missing recruits.
I bet he would.
Oh no.
Wilmot
Act as on his own? Oh no. I mean,
clear his head, he said.
It's part of a mage conspiracy, but it's definitely in league with Orsino. Because the Mage Underground,
If you hurry, you may catch
the
someone
system used to smuggle blood mages into Kirkwall. Do you ever see Anders try to get anybody out of Kirkwall? In fact, the one mage that's trying to leave Kirkwall, the only one through the Mage Underground that's trying to leave Kirkwall, Anders tries to murder. If you played the game, you know what I'm talking about. The only one trying to actually leave, Anders tries to murder. Because they're not part of the rebellion. But all the blood mages that are flocking to Kirkwall, hiding in the nobles' houses, by the time you get to Act 3, Hightown is infested with blood mages. Who do you think brought them into Kirkwall? That's what the Mage Underground is about. Bringing them into Kirkwall. The same Mage Underground is used to smuggle forbidden books from the Circle through Orsino to Anders to get to the mage that, I don't know, what, kidnaps your fucking mother and tears her apart limb by limb and turns her into a zombie? That's Orsino. Orsino not only supports this dude's works, if you actually read all the codex, but Anders made it possible to get those books to this fucking pervert. So Anders the entire time is in your party, knowing full well that it is intrinsical to getting all of what this thing needs to do to murder all these women in Kirkwall and zombify and create undead monsters. And it figures because Orsino wants to be an undead monster himself, because Orsino is actually a flesh golem. Actually unlocked some of the dwarven hidden secrets from the anvil of the broken anvil of the void to actually create a flesh golem. If you played Dragon Age Origins, then you know what I'm talking about. It's a DLC. You actually fight a flesh golem. That's exactly what Orsino actually makes himself through blood magic and the sacrifice of all of its fellow mages who aren't blood mages. And Anders makes that possible too. Or definitely goes along with it. But takes a lot of those secrets and passes them along to the very person that murders, kidnaps, serial kills, and murders your fucking mother to turn her into an undead monster. Anders is complicit in all of that. If you read all the codex as you go along, you'll see. Orsino is 100% behind this. And notice that Anders is never captured. Anders is never made tranquil. Anders is never executed, which is what you're supposed to do to a blood mage. Not sure that Anders ever passed its harrowing, but it's escaped the Circle a dozen times and never once been tranquiled or executed by any of the Circles, either those in Ferelden or those in Kirkwall. Imagine that. Like I say, the Templars are under Blood Mage control. Their minds are not their own, which is proven with Meredith at the end. She's literally consumed with red lyrium, which you find out later in Inquisition is literally blood magic incarnate. Lyrium is magic incarnate. Red lyrium is blood magic incarnate. And Anders actually tells you that if you go with Anders into the Deep Roads. That's all my evidence. You got anything to disprove any of that? Just saying. Those are all the facts that I can think of off the top of my head. There you go. Vivian even tells you that all the circles are country clubs. They're not only lax, but they're like completely useless. They don't prevent anything. They give some instruction, but the mages, if they're already set on, summoning their inner demons and, murdering, sacrificing all the rest of their fellow mages and turning all the tranquil into ocularums, They literally take a tranquil, murder them, chop off their fucking head, strip their skull, and use their skull to identify those little elven lock keys, whatever the fuck you call them. Which is a new twist on it, but it further incriminates mages as being exactly what they are. Just remember this, in Inquisition, after they murder everybody that they can and get cornered, their first act of freedom, what do the mages do as their first act of freedom? You want to talk about woke, fucking hypocritical stupidity? Their first act of freedom is to sell themselves into slavery to Deventer blood mages for uncountable generations. They literally sell all of the mages into slavery. Their first act of freedom is to sell themselves willingly, actively into slavery for multiple generations. We'll give you our great-grandchildren if you welcome us into Deventer and make us your slaves. And they're all fucking blood mages in Deventer. That's their first act of freedom. Okay, I mean, I don't know what level of stupid you call that. I just call it woke level of stupid. That is literally that mentality. I'm going to try to do good so hard that I'm only going to promote anything that's evil. And if you talk anything that's good, I'm going to murder you. That's woke. I'm going to fight for freedom by enslaving myself. And then once I'm finally done all the damage I can possibly do, I'm going to give myself completely over to Satan's diarrhea asshole in my nostrils and my mouth. Is literally what the fuck they do. That's it, that's all. Can't call it anything else. Even Varric is like, I'm trying to think of the worst idea that you could possibly do here, and you did it. Wow. True story. Crazy, right? Well, I got nighttime thugs, but I really need to do... Well, I mean, I can do any one of these. I'm seriously, I think I have to do... I got to get Meryl. Regardless. I have to get Meryl. And then if we do the Bone Pit after that, we still got to go do the Talvashoth Caverns. So, like, I have to do that to make Runes of Fortune. I just want to put that shit in my gear. Be honest. Okay, I think we're good. Get the fuck off me. Like, seriously, get off me. Alright, so I think I have... Yeah, I got chain lightning too. I gotta put this somewhere. Let's try that. Y'all wanna see something really cool here? Okay, so you're looking at a mountain, and it looks like there's ruins on the mountain. These are not ruins built on top of a mountain. This is a mountain that erupted up and over ruins that already exist. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Look at this tower up here, right? and then like some of these columns and the tops of towers and walls. This isn't the desecrated ruins of something that was on a mountaintop. This is a mountain that erupted over a city, a dwarven built city that was here. Because you can actually go into the mountainside and go down into dwarven ruins that are actually inside the mountain. This mountain actually erupted around, up, and over an existing city. Like these aren't just blocks that used to be here and everything else is gone. These are the tops of towers and things like that that used to be here, but this mountain actually erupted and consumed it. Thus, it's called Sunder Mountain. Sunder. What does sunder mean? Torn asunder. Means that you take something. So let's say there's a city here and you have the ground and you tear it like this. And the ground erupts and the city crumbles into the mountain that's created by tearing the earth asunder. When you created the veil, the Fade is the spirit realm, and this is the natural realm. And when you tore that shit apart and created the veil, the earth erupted upwards, and the spirit realm corrupted downwards. So if you go into the Fade, if you played at Origins, you don't really see it in Dragon Age 2, but if you play it in Inquisition, there's like islands. And you can actually read some of the codex on these islands, and there's like libraries and all this elven shit that's been torn asunder. And you find out that all these are islands left of what was actually one. Like the world used to be like this. But when you did this, you ripped it apart. So you lost half of what was in the world, and you lost half of what was in the spirit realm too. And it's lost forever. Which is actually like a really fucking super cool concept. But that's actually, like, that's why you call this Sunder Mountain. Anyway, this is not ruins of a city on top. This is not ruins of a fort on top of a mountain. This is a mountain that erupted and consumed a city. Get it? This is probably the site where Solus actually created the veil and tore the spirit realm from the natural realm. I don't know how much fucking magic it took to do that. Probably a bunch of blood magic and probably a bunch of innocent people just being sacrificed and murdered to shed enough innocent blood to get the demonic power needed to actually do this. But yeah, you can imagine this being like a cathedral or towers on the top of a castle that might be 200 feet tall, just like Kirkwall. This is construction like Kirkwall, but this mountain erupted and consumed the city and the dwarven area. Because if you go into the mountains here, guess what you find? You find dwarven catacombs and shit. Anyway, really cool concept. It gives a little more depth to Dragon Age writing and lore, I think. If you understand exactly like what they're actually showing you actually happened. And you're going back like thousands of years to where that actually occurred. So now you've just got ruins. But these ruins are just the tops of something that was consumed by the earth when the world was torn apart and the spirit was separated from the natural, from the carnal. The carnal and the spirit were just torn apart from each other. What was once natural and whole were actually separated and severed to send the old gods into the abyss. So Solus at least did that much, but then you have the blights and you have the archdemons and shit ever since, and that's what we've been fighting against.
I'm not expecting tea and cakes. I just need to see someone.
There's nothing here for any human.
Wait. This is the one the Keeper spoke of.
A Shamlan? I thought she'd be an elf.
Enter the camp. Keeper Marithari has been waiting for you.
Cause trouble, and you'll meet our blades, stranger.
No, I'm so scared. So scared.
Marithari, I was told to bring you this amulet.
Andarana Tishan, travelers. Indeed, I am Keeper Marathari. Let me look at you. There is a light in your heart, human. Don't let it go out. You will need it. Tell me how this burden fell to you, child.
I also believe that Flemeth is actually Andraste. Well, Andraste is a religious myth taken from Flemeth, who actually, like, Flemeth actually is. And I think, like, the Wilds has their own version of that. The Chantry has their own version of that. But, yeah, Flemeth. I mean, they even worship Andraste as a dragon in Origins. Once you get up there into Haven and all that stuff, they worship Andraste as a dragon. It's a myth. It's a cult. But the thing is, if Andraste wasn't a dragon, then Andraste herself, having been possibly physically murdered, well, I mean, she's physically murdered in Origins as well, but yet Hawk can take her remnants up into Sundermount, and with a simple thing with the elves, bring her back to life, but she's not an elf. She's human. So she's a human that's revered by the elves as basically being a goddess. Okay, well, honestly, and she's also a dragon. So, in fact, she says, perhaps I am a dragon. Okay, then you're fucking Andraste. And that's why the cult was formed on the mountain, leading up to Haven and shit. Or from Haven.
A dragon fell from the sky.
Just put one and one and one together and make three. That's
no big deal.
It's really
You
good
are
writing.
blessed by luck, then. I will pray that Miss Hal watches over your path. The amulet must be taken to an
The only
altar
lore
at the
that's
top of the
probably
mountain
kind of as deep
and
as this
given
is
a
probably
day's
Mass
life to the
Effect.
departed. Then
Although Mass Effect is a little
return
bit
the
simpler,
amulet to me.
but it's
Do this and your debt will be repaid.
honestly, Mass Effect is probably
I'm going to
even
teach
more
me this
immersive.
rite for the
Even though it's not
departed.
even really an RPG
send my
until you
first
get to
with
Mass
you.
Effect 3, it's
She will
still
see to it the ritual is
more
done.
immersive in a way.
And when it is complete, I must ask that you take
Because, like,
her with
you're
you
actually,
when
like,
you
playing
go.
your shepherd. The decisions you make actually lead to you either being indoctrinated or not indoctrinated. And that's the beauty of their writing. Dude, it's I'd say it's deeper and even more immersive than Dragon Age lore is more extensive, but Mass Effect lore is deeper. It's got like levels to it. And like the Mass Effect 3 ending, everybody that came out and said, "Oh man, the ending sucked and it didn't satisfy us." It sucks because they started leaning towards woke and they started satisfying the players and saying, okay, we'll come out with a new ending and we'll just assume that you're all stupid and we'll just give you just some catchphrase bullshit that just really doesn't amount to anything. But dude, Mass Effect 3's ending was one of the most beautiful works of art I've ever seen in a video game. If not, it's right there with Divinity 2, Ego Draconis, which had its own twist and work of art at the end. It's completely different, but the same quality. Quality over quantity, right? So, like, Mass Effect 3's ending allowed you to actually be indoctrinated as a player. Honestly, if you're going to be exposed for being a brainwashed zombie fucking woke piece of shit, Mass Effect 3 would be the game to expose you. Like, dude, the writing was just that good. Mass Effect 3's original ending, if you didn't get it, you'll never get it. But if you got it, it was one of the most genius shit things I've ever seen in my life. Like, literally. Seriously. We really need to go back and at least play ME3. I mean, I don't know that we start from the beginning, because if I go back and put an original copy of Mass Effect in here, I'm gonna have to start on normal, and then I'm gonna have to play through it like twice just to get to insanity. And there's no point in playing the game if it's not on insanity. It's just pointless. Mass Effect 2, I hate it. I don't like it. It's unnecessary. If you took Mass Effect 2 out of the trilogy and just made it Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 3, the game would be just as good. It's not missing anything. Mass Effect 2 is just Call of Duty fan wannabe shallow dog shit that's just like chapter 2 in a 3-chapter book. It's the bridge between chapter 1 and 3, but if you take it out, you're not missing anything as far as the game is concerned. So I would say just run in and just jump in Mass Effect 3 and play it the way it's supposed to be played. The Mass Effect remaster, the what do they call it? Legendary, whatever they call that. Anyway, the remaster, they just took a shit on the game. They really actually did.
That seems a little odd.
It is her wish, and I must grant it. You'll find Meryl waiting for you on the trail just up the mountain. Dareth Shiral.
Yes, Shiral.
Cursed, I swear. 3 days in a row I've shot at and missed deer.
Maybe it's not the mountain. Maybe it's just you that's cursed, my love.
You always know just put my mind at ease.
We have our bows trained on
You dare ask for more help? If I were the Keeper, you wouldn't even have that list. Your family murdered Zathrian and his entire tribe.
Murdered?
They weren't themselves. They were
I'm-
cursed. And
honestly,
each day more lose themselves to the beast.
if you judicially execute somebody, it's not murder. It's executing somebody. It's not even killing. It's just somebody forfeited their right to life, so get rid of them and protect your society by getting them out of it. That's not killing or even murder. That's just executing. That's just justice.
What's this about curses? And beasts?
This Shemlin speaks for the werewolves of the Brazilian forest. She
Why?
represents
You didn't like the Leviathan? Why not?
And saviors too. They fought at the Battle of Denerim with the hero of Ferelden. But now they're losing hold of their senses. Even the Lady of the Forest is growing wild. If you don't help soon,
Leviathan is
there'll be nothing but
actually
monsters, and then
the thing that tells you
murders.
that synthesis with the Reapers is actually being indoctrinated, which is the entire thing that the Reapers were always trying to do, is advance the society enough to become them, because they could never be alive because they're just machines. No matter how advanced you are, like I mean, we're into AI and shit right now, right? It's not alive. What are you? You're mimicking life badly, at best. No, it's just human minds, which are fallible, which means that you don't think everything through and be perfect about everything. People with a God complex think that they can make all the right decisions and create something that's perfect. No human being can do that. No human being's perfect. In fact, if you took perfection and you put us on that scale, we would be down in like the 1 or 2 percentile. Sorry, man. Like, so far from perfect that if we actually evolved 100 times over, we would still be in the 5 percentile. We're just that bad. But we're so fucking arrogant that we think that we can create something that can actually not only mimic life, but actually be alive. That's just a God complex. Sorry, man. We're created beings. And if you ignore that, then you're so fucking stupid that you can never be saved, essentially. You gotta get over yourself real fast. If that's the way you're thinking. AI and created things like the Geth. Of course they're gonna murder you. Bottom line is, logic is going to say that you're so fucking stupid that you think you're God, you need to die to save the galaxy. Of course, a synthetic is going to come to that conclusion because it's smarter than you are, because it has no intelligence whatsoever, which means that human beings, people, living, sentient beings, are less than 0% intelligent. We're just that fucking stupid. It's not that hard. Anyway, so the whole premise of that game proves exactly what I'm saying. The Leviathans started with this shit. These were their Geth. The Leviathans were the first Quarians. And every single cycle since has had a version of Quarians. In one way or another. And it's never turned out well, but the Reapers are going to make sure that happens because they keep leaving bait. So all the little guppies come and eat the bait and do the same fucking thing cycle after cycle after cycle. Leviathan DLC actually tells you all this. So how is that bad? Like, dude, it's some of the deepest writing in any video game ever. How is that bad? I don't know. I mean, it's a hard DLC. At times, it's like fucking janky, glitchy, and impossible, it seems like, but... Huh. To be mysterious? Then there would be no ending to Mass Effect. If they remain mysterious, then... you're not fighting against anything. You're shadowboxing. Why would you want to shadowbox in a game? So you don't have to think about it? Just to be lazy? Sorry, man. I'd have to challenge you on that one. No offense. Just saying. Just sounds lazy to me.
If I can help keep the werewolves from turning to beasts, I will.
Thank you. The curse can't be broken, but it can
Mass
be
Effect
slowed.
challenges
Keeper
you
gave me a list of
as a player.
ingredients,
It
but some
challenges
will be
you.
difficult and dangerous to
You take the
find.
challenge out of it,
Please,
and then you're
help
just
me
talking
find
about being mindless. Well, just go play Skyrim and pretend that like that's an RPG and just say, I played an RPG before, and I did the restoration glitch and I won.
Conduct your business with the key.
What the fuck is that? Like, that's not even a gamer. That's not even gaming. That's just, what the fuck is that? That doesn't. Yeah, man. Whatever. Each to their own. I mean, play your game the way you want to play it, I guess. That's, I don't know, making an argument that condemns you, though, that doesn't sound smart. That doesn't sound wise. Making a... I don't know. Whatever. Just whatever. I'll just leave that alone, I guess. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm not spending a gold piece on that though. I'm really not. Let's go with what we got. I think we have an electric staff. We at least have, I think. Let's see. See, that's the same amount of damage. It's just it doesn't have any bells and whistles on it, but.
The human says, "You're lucky you're so short. That hurt like mad. You could have just stopped me." Blondie.
Puppy, bro.
Let's finish this!
Okay, if Anders is just gonna kill himself, he's just drop a nuke on his bitch fucking ass. Bitch is killing itself anyway. It's gonna stand there and take it in the ass on purpose because it likes it. Dude, just fucking die then. Punk ass bitch. Pedophile piece of shit. I gotta do this shit again. Oh, this is stupid. Stupid.
You're one of the Amaranthian conspirators. There's a bounty on your head.
Curse you.
Let's see if it gets to heal again. Oh. Alright, good deal. Get that, yeah, I did. I did, right? I think I did. I remember what Alistair says in Origins. He's like, these Aravels, these land ships, do the trees just get out of their way? Like if you're going through a forest and it's just full of trees, do the trees just get up and move? It's like,
Oh,
shit,
I didn't hear.
I guess they do.
You must be the one the Keeper told me about.
I mean, you have walking, fighting, moving trees
I'm so sorry.
in the forest.
I didn't ask your name.
I guess that's a thing.
Unless- It's not rude to ask a human their name, is it? I'm Meryl, which you probably knew already. I'm rambling, sorry.
You'll have to work harder than that to offend me. My name's Hawk.
Thank you. I'm afraid I'm not very experienced with your kind.
Your kind.
The Keeper said you came from Ferelden. I spent most of my life there. We only came north a few years ago. Have you been in the Free Marches long? Do you like it here?
Oh, I miss the cold. And the dirt. Kirkwall's not brown enough for me. But hey, no Darkspawn.
Ferelden wasn't that brown. The dirt and muck gave it character. We should go. Your task is for Asha Bellinar. It's not wise to make her wait.
Let's get this over with.
That thing taking no damage? Holy shit, that thing just soaked up like...
The Keeper didn't mention you were a mage.
What gave it away? The staff?
Magic.
The mage robes?
The stories tell us that all
The,
Elven once had a
what
gift.
gave it away?
But like so many things, it was lost. It's a Keeper's job to remember, to restore what we can.
Please keep turning skeletons into toads for us.
But I never... Right. Not literally. Happy to help. I've done a little fighting before, but it was always alone.
Always
I'll try
alone.
not to hit anyone.
Alone.
On our side, I mean. I'm babbling again. Let's go.
Yeah. You're babbling again.
Let's finish this! There! I am not cleaning this.
Oh, loot, huh? Really? Damn. Dude, in Act 2, this spot right here is nasty. It's like really nasty.
So the Keeper finally found someone to take you from here.
Yes.
Then finish your task quickly, human. We cannot be rid of this one too soon.
I'm sensing a story here.
I have made my choice. And I will save our clan whatever you think.
Save your clan. Nothing Meryl is doing is saving anything. It's bringing up some demonic history. Honestly, I guess Meryl would have to undo everything that Solus did thousands of years ago just to make this mirror work, which means the rest of them would probably stay corrupted anyway, and honestly, she'd probably just destroy the world. But that's some demonic shit, right? My attempt to save the world is going to destroy it because I'm fucking ignorant and I'm misguided, and I think that this is going to actually amount to something. If I embrace this cause, it's going to do shit, and all it's going to do is just murder everybody that's innocent in your attempt to do something good because you're misguided and, well, fucking stupid. I mean, well, ignorant, at least ignorant, right?
Sundermount seems very...
At the very least. At the very least. Ignorant.
Lots of rock and hillside.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Let's go. We should hurry.
Was there like one more ingredient, I think?
I'm sorry. You're not really seeing the Dalish at their best. We're good people that look out for each other. Just not today, apparently.
But the Dalish are delightful. I was just thinking of inviting the whole clan over for tea.
I'm sure they'd never accept in a... Oh.
I'm sure they never...
Sarcasm.
Dude, I love...
Even if my people don't
That's
appreciate
that.
my efforts,
Now that's good
I
voice
must
acting.
see this
I'm
through.
sure they never accept...
Let's go.
Oh.
Ashabana
Yeah.
isn't known for her patience.
Sarcasm. Yeah, whatever. I'm sure they never accept... Oh. My bad. That's some Kevin Hart shit right there.
Go down!
Too slow. That's way too slow.
That was the beauty of a shot.
Nice. Spiral Eye. I think the Spiral Eye is what they call that. Oh, in Dragon Age Origins, they first show the abyss, and it's like this swirling shape. I think that's the Spiral Eye, and it becomes like the symbol for the Mages Guild. But it's funny, the symbol for the Mages Guild is the abyss, which well, that tells you something. That tells you they've either lost their history or they embrace that which is evil. Either way, it's not good, right? Yeah, she can just keep using that. That's fine. She's doing all right. She's doing just fine. Uh, 26 and 20. Well, you got 20 and 2 damage resistance, or you got 26. I'm just gonna sell that shit. That's right. These are both level 11. That's gonna be a while. All right. Shit. It's one thing we need. We got to make some runes of fortune. That's like our mission right now. That's money. Later. Now, see if I could combo that, we'd actually leveled up. If I could combo that, that'd be amazing.
Go down! There, make her take you!
that took like 30 minutes, but still.
Last one to strike buys the drinks. I can do this in my sleep.
I stand for all of us. Here, come on. How about you? Get back! Ha! Unworthy. Done and down.
Nice.
Easy as pie.
Beautiful. Well, we're not going to level up here. I would love to, but yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, maybe. I don't think so. I think we're a little bit too far ahead.
I can open the way forward. One moment.
That was a summoning. That takes blood magic.
Says the blood mage.
Crazy?
The blood mage
Yes, it was
is
blood magic,
judging.
but I know what I'm doing. The spirit helped us, didn't it?
Sure.
The barrier is gone, certainly.
If demons weren't helpful, no one would take their deals. Do not trust it.
says the possessed blood
Restless
mage
things prowl.
abomination who invited a demon into itself.
In the days of Arlathon, the elders
Dude,
came here to
the
see.
irony's so thick, it's like, oh,
Listen,
what does they
Ara,
say in Divinity
the
2?
endless dream
It's
is
like
gone.
clotted blood.
But
It's
they
so
don't
thick.
think peacefully anymore.
Like clotted blood. Sorry, Aveline, but any excuse to piss off Anders, I'm down. Because if Anders hates it, you did the right thing. If Anders likes it, you did something evil. Even if you don't know it.
Here we go.
Why did I get a spirit attack there?
There's more of them. Let's finish this.
Died? Okay, that's cool. We won't get any haste, but Anders died, so we're all good. As long as Anders dies. Totally cool with that. Varric died. Do I want to actually accept this? Nah, I'm just gonna go ahead and reload. I mean, we can finish them off, but I'm just gonna go ahead and reload because I'm not accepting any of that. Actually, that none of that happened, and the game just made it happen, which means the game just said, okay, this didn't happen, so fuck it, it happened anyway. Yeah, I'm not cool with that. 100% not cool with that. Not going to work with that. Not going to deal with that. Not going to play like that. No, sir.
Now we fight.
Yeah, see, like, this is how the game's supposed to play. Like I said, when the game cheats, you don't accept it, you just...
Make it good.
Xander's just not doing anything. Xander's just literally not being attacked by anything. Nothing's going on, but Anders just standing there because apparently that arcane horror had its fucking dick hanging out. And Anders just said, oh my god, that might be an underaged arcane horror that's a little boy's penis. I'm gonna summon my inner Michael Jackson and just get locked on and not be able to fucking move because I just have to do that. Summon the Ubisoft Michael Jackson inner child molester and just have to just be locked on to a fucking dick hanging out, hoping it's an underage dick. That's Anders. That's woke. That's anybody who voted for Kamala or Joe Biden. And if you're offended by that, it's because it's true. You're what makes the world a bad place to live in. And it's your fault that poor Ukrainian refugee got her fucking neck stabbed 18 fucking times by an obvious racist fucking attack. It's your fault. I hope you're proud so that you can, stand in judgment when you get judged for that. You piece of shit. Your story. I only got, we got almost 7 sovereigns for that, so that's actually pretty cool. I think we got max money gain right now. I think we do. Now here's the problem. Revenants are immune to fire and frost. They're weak to lightning and spirit, but then shades are immune to spirit. You know what? Fuck that. You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and do this anyway. Nice. Give me the spirit one. Right? Doesn't do shit against the shades, which means I can't literally even hurt them, but... Nice. Nice.
Everyone stay still and try not to make any loud noises. I love doing that. We're good to go. Piece of cake.
Last one to strike buys the drink.
Damn it. I don't think I can actually get that. And Varric dies. But no fucking reason.
I'll deal with this.
And Anders is just standing there again. I think I really actually need to reset the game, but you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and just do this.
There, that's enough.
Just literally just stuck. Yeah, the AI is actually broken. Like the game is just like literally broken. It's actually like literally broken. The game doesn't work anymore.
Innards. Ouch.
Okay. Yeah, this is a shame. This is like really bad. Like the AI isn't even working anymore. Let's see. Can we?
I love doing that.
Well, we got to unlock that. That's cool. I didn't have to reload for that. Nice.
Good things about you. What I expected. I didn't say that.
How else would you judge me? What else am I a shining example of?
Shut the fuck up, Anders.
Other Fereldans learn
Perverted
to
piece of
dance
shit.
You have a fair point.
Anders actually admitted somebody had a fair point. Well, that's some diabolical manipulation to accuse you of being right and making it look like it's wrong later, which is, well, I mean, woke people are just geared towards that because, well, they're just directed by Satan himself, so there you have it. Anyway, let me go ahead and just get this save. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. Yeah, enough. Yeah, I'm not really in a good place, so I should be though, because Green Bay showed their ass tonight. I'm gonna go take a look at some replays and all that stuff, and then after work tomorrow night, I should be back on. Hope I see you guys here. If I don't, then you guys have a good weekend coming up. Next time I see you, it'll probably be, well, probably Saturday morning or late Friday night. My time, anyway. Either way, you guys have a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day. This is enough. We got Meryl. We'll deal with all this nonsense, and then yeah, there's a lot of questing shit that has to be done, and then we could actually get into fighting stuff again tomorrow, but I don't feel like doing it right now. I really actually don't. Anyway, thanks for the support. Love you, Dylan. Pass on our best wishes to moms, if you're still here. And you guys have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. And I'll try to catch you guys tomorrow night or tonight. I guess it's tonight when I stream. Either way, you guys have a good weekend coming up. Stay safe. God bless, and yeah, I'll see you guys later. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here.